What up, cappers, gamblers?
We're here. We did it, everyone. We finally made it. We persevered through the darkness that is the MLB lockout. And guess what, everyone? Guess what? Baseball is back. A full 162 games. And guess who's excited about baseball? This fucking guy right here. This fucking guy right here. And of course, as you guys know, I am hosting the baseball capping show this year for Pub Sports Radio. I know what you're thinking. They're letting this wee adult child with this shitty mustache on his face have his own show, host his own show, all that responsibility. But guess what, guys? Guess what? I have a promise for you guys. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Now, I want everyone to look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes. Jamie, I know you're looking at me in the eyes back there. Look at me in the eyes. When I say, I promise, you will never see a host as hard as they host in this country, in this season, as hard as I will host this year. That is my promise to you guys. I will be the hardest host out there, and you will see a host that will get stuff done. This is for you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We finally did it. Baseball is back. We're not done yet, guys. We're here. We're in here. I'm so excited. Let's do this, everyone. Jimmy, you can come back whenever now. Let's go. We're in here. We're back. We're going. We're setting. I am so excited. Baseball season. It's starting soon. Free agency. Everything is coming together. Everything is coming together, everyone. We've done it. We're doing it. Baseball is back. Let's go.
Okay, there we go. Baseball is back, and Jose is going to be the hardest host that in America. I can promise you this. I'll be the softest host in America. I will stay flaccid for you all day, all night. And that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee you can take right to the bank. Anytime you're hanging out with me, I'll be flaccid. Okay? Anytime that you're capping with me, I'll be flaccid. That's a promise here. We have tons of work to do today. Tons and tons of work. We're going to try to cap all 58 games here. We may be able to. We may not. We will see. We'll definitely touch on all 58 games. We have Babano joining us here shortly. Let's do a quick review of yesterday. But first, a low bagger who has supported us since we started, Trevor Loudon, had cancer, and a young man and talented handicapper and broadcaster out of Toronto. And with the first time we did a low bag some of the champions in Toronto, he came with big fat old spliff for me as a gift, and just a quality guy and young. And he got cancer, and it was tough. And he said, I won't be able to be in the chat as much. And great news, cancer-free, baby. Cancer-free for Trevor Loudon. So big shout out to Trev. Put a huge smile on my face. Cancer-free, baby. So we gave you as much love and prayers as we could, but it's not us. It's you, man. You're tough. You have an incredible future ahead of you. And this is all you, man. What a year this is going to be for you. Big shout out to Trevor Loudon and Fat Wally, our guy. We love you. Got to get you back from ICU because we are ready to party with you in San Antonio. So let's start by giving love to Trevor Loudon and Fat Wally. Let's get to work. Quick review of yesterday. Ron Crawford goes 2-1. Dan Kelly cashes his Brooklyn, Philadelphia under 235. That was the same as me. I've actually cashed 7 of 8 in NBA right now. That was my only bet on the board yesterday. We have in NHL, the worst bet I made was Ducks first period without Trevor Zegras and Getzlaff, and just I don't know what I was thinking. 3-2. Pushed with the Wild -1. Pushed with the Senators -1. Cashed Columbus, New York Islanders over 5.5. No, that was very fortunate. Anders Lee completes the hat trick with 2 seconds left. Bruins first period -0.5, and Bruins -1.5 was lost. Just atrocious. I don't know why. Very upsetting that I think the Bruins are going to pay me out so often, and they so rarely do. Colorado, Carolina under 6.5 was possibly the easiest bet of the year, and then we cashed with the Flames minus 155. And we're going to break into NHL right now. In NCAA, it was a 2-2 day. Those first halves were atrocious. Missouri first half, Sac State first half, that was awful. Kent State minus 6.5 cashed comfortably, and Rice, North Texas under 125.5 was as easy as it could be. Probably should have added the Rice team total under. Shout out to CMAC for those great breakdowns. All right, let's get to work. And there's Mark Schillingberg in the house. Says, got to get my head back in it. Said it's hard to do if you're not 100%. You've got all these things, very difficult things that you're dealing with your family right now, Mark. And so the best thing to do is keep your quantity down. Cap as much as possible because it'll, let you enjoy your thoughts and everything that's going on. So cap as much as possible, but bring your quality down. Bring your quantity down, and just focus on a couple, 2 or 3 bets. That's the best thing to do because it is tough. Your mind's going to wander, and your family is so lucky to have you to carry them through these tough times. And we love having you as well, Mark Schillingberg. Very, very much. Okay, so there you go. We are about to bring on your first guest, and we're going to need to move quickly. We have allotted a nice amount of time, but we're going to have to move quickly. Please welcome, fresh off a spectacular show last Friday in NHL. Man, was he eaten in NHL. Dallas, Winnipeg draw plus 328, cash it. He went 4-2 plus 4.06 units, and he's now hitting at 61.5%. It's small sample size, 13 bets, but 4.65 units, average line plus 105, coming off that 4-2 plus 4.06 unit day here on this show last Friday. Please welcome pride of Hamilton, Ontario, Mr. Ian Cameron in the house.
Baseball's back. Let's go. Papa-palooza's this week, too. Don't forget, Big Red is the drink of San Antonio. Sign up for your events. Baseball's back, everyone. Let's have a time.
Oh, dude.
Save some for 2 weeks from now, my friend.
All right. Okay, let's stay focused here. Let's stay focused here. Let's stay focused. Schnitzel says back-to-back 5-0 day, hit with the Warriors plus 220 live. Beautiful. Jimmy Bag says Sixers. I loved it. Yes, they were atrocious. You were right, Prince of the City. And shout out to our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh, who went 3-0 plus 3.42 units on the show, now hitting over 60, just a taint hair under 62% on the show in NBA. All right, let's get to work. But first, welcome to the show, Babano. How are you?
Good, excellent. Yeah, those NHL numbers are good. It's basically been the season for me outside. You throw out October, the season's been incredible for me in the NHL. Absolutely fantastic season. So hopefully more winners on the ice starting right now.
Yes, but first, Mama Nutflush in the house. Got to give her a big shout out. She says, been capping the weather for Papa-palooza. Weather line opened at 80 degrees with no line movement. Money coming in on a good time. And odds of Mama Nutflush getting drunk are minus 2,500. She's incredible. We love you so much. Ron
Yes,
Crawford's
we do.
play today is in. I'm on the same thing.
Nutflush Allen did well. He picked well with her. Yeah.
On there. Let me just pop this up here. Okay, let's get right to work. And another big shout out to Mama Nutflush. Man, is she the coolest? Come to San Antonio if you want to hang out with Mama Nutflush. Okay, let's get right to work. But Bono, I'll pull out the market move here in a second, but let me just set the table for you and hand it over to you. Ron Crawford spreadsheet, play of the days, Pittsburgh. I've moved on Pittsburgh -1 at plus 110. There hasn't been a ton of movement on this game. This was of the 3 games, there was a tiny bit of. Oh, now there is. Now it's -170 plus 155. I figured when Logan Thompson, even though Logan Thompson's been good in 2 games, was officially announced that there'd be a bit of a panic or movement towards the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to pull up Logan Thompson's hockey database, so I will take care of that. Tristan Jarry on the other side, 27, 12, and 6, 2.34 goals against average, 920 save percentage. I do have interest in the under. Logan Thompson's the reason why I haven't bet it yet, but these teams aren't scoring. Vegas power play at 17.7%, penalty killing 79.5%, Pittsburgh power play 21.6%, 85.0% penalty killing. Knights on the second half of back-to-back after losing their second straight game, 3-1 at Buffalo last night. An emotional return for Jack Eichel. He got, he was booed pretty heavy. They did show the, clips of him on the Jumbotron, and there was a smattering of applause, but it was not the kind of meetup that he was hoping for. The Golden Knights have just 17 goals over their past 8 games. No Robin Lehner, as we know, he's out in a ton of injuries. So I'll go over their injuries as well, unless you want to touch on them. The Penguins coming off their second straight loss, 4-3 at home to the Panthers on Tuesday night. What a difference a week makes. A week ago, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa, outshoot them 2-1, and they're world beaters. We all fade them the next night in Carolina. Carolina outshoots them 2-1, and since Pittsburgh had that 2-0 lead, they've done nothing, and they're getting hammered in the press for their lack of depth. The Gensel, Crosby, Rust, and then Malkin, if you take those 4 guys, they've scored 15 of their last 19 goals. I mean, that's not going to cut it. And that's over 8 games. 19 goals in 8 games, 3-4-1 in those games. Take it away here, Babano, Knights, Penguins.
Yeah, I'm on Pittsburgh in regulation here as well. I shouldn't say as well. If you took money line, that's obviously a different bet. But I'm on Pittsburgh in regulation now, which you can get. I'm just going to see the price that I locked it in. But while I'm looking, just briefly, look, brevity is important today. We got lots of games. Vegas is struggling. All right, Vegas is definitely going to have issues. I think beating anybody, especially good teams, until they get everybody back. I mean, they got 2 key defensemen that are out, including Alec Martinez. They've got Mark Stone out. They've got Matthias Janmark, who I think is a more important depth forward than people think. They're just going to have issues right now at this point in time, I think, winning hockey games till they get some of these guys back. Now, you've got Vegas on a back-to-back after the big deal that was the return to Buffalo for Jack Eichel last night. They lost that game 3-1. They're having a very difficult time putting the puck in the net. I think Pittsburgh, when you look at their play, not happy with Mike Sullivan was with the game against Florida, particularly some of the breakdowns in their own end. They felt they didn't do a good enough job clearing the front of the net to help out their goaltender, Tristan Jarry. So I'd expect the Penguins to be better tonight. And I think that right now Vegas is just too depleted at this point in time. When you're losing to Buffalo and Philly back-to-back, you got some issues. So minus 102, we've locked in Pittsburgh in regulation.
Okay, and taint play of the day is in, and you are right, Lucas. We meant to start with that game in college basketball. It was just a pretty wild opening with Jose, and then I went right into NHL because that was on the top of my work in my notes. So that's why we did that. But that's good. I'm happy we did get this Pittsburgh game locked in. Penguins in regulation at minus 102. I'm on Pens minus 1 at plus 110, and I do have interest in this under. So just briefly here, Logan Thompson is not quite. If he was a little older, I'd be a little more nervous because these undrafted goalies who earn this opportunity, you usually see the team really support him and really fight for him. And he's earned this spot in Henderson. He's been very good the last couple of years in Henderson, very good. And he's 6'4", and out of Brandon Wheat Kings, he's more than capable of having a good start and the team rallying around him. And I'd like to see if this moves more to the over. Holy shit! Look at this. This is the wildest shit. The Minnesota Columbus. I tweeted out and bet last night over 6 minus 105 at Bet365. It's now over 6.5 at minus 135. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, let's move over quickly, Babano, to college basketball. We are going to switch gears here, and look at that. Look at our producer, 4 beers deep at 10 in the morning out there, and he's still
come on, we're rolling, and a soda, Jim, because a Big Red's a soda.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay, sorry, I do not know Big Red. Okay, let's move over to the Action Network and make sure that I can give.
That's the booze talking, by the way.
Line movement here. We have tip off in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinal in 13 minutes. Now we're going to finish off NHL and then get back to the 12 p.m. games. The SEC tournament and the A10 quarterfinals are both there. But let's talk about this game that pops off here in 13 minutes. Indiana opening up as 3.5-point dogs. That's moved to 6.5. This total come from 137 to 136.5. Indiana 19-12, 9-11 in the Big Ten. Illinois 22-8, 15-5 in the Big Ten. And we are in Gamebridge Fieldhouse for this banger to start off our day. before I pass it over to, we'll just quickly set another table here. We have an impressive performance by Indiana against Michigan. That second half, they completely took over the game and find themselves in the quarters. Illinois looking good. They defeat Iowa at home at the end of the regular season, 74-72, and Iowa was rolling. They win at Michigan, they beat Penn State, and then they beat Iowa. They're comfortable and rolling, moving in here. Take it away, Babano. Do you agree with this market move towards Illinois? How are you handling this?
So Indiana needs the game. I mean, for sure, for their tournament hopes. And I don't like betting against underdogs that are, in theory, supposed to bring max effort, and that desperate sense of urgency. And I think you're going to see that from Indiana. Indiana now does have a pulse for the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of bracketologists out there thinking that if they solidify and ratchet up and you get this win against Illinois, that's going to be enough for them right there to be in the NCAA tournament. So Indiana definitely you would think is going to be fully invested in this game. Not that Illinois won't be, but they will be. However, Indiana's had no ability this year to stop Illinois and what they do offensively. And from a matchup perspective, I'm not sure this is a good matchup. They haven't been able to stop the perimeter shooters. They haven't been able to stay in front of Curbelo. They haven't been able to contain Kofi Cockburn in the low post at any point. Indiana, when they played Illinois head-to-head this year, that's a concern. And you think about all the energy and all the effort they had to expend and the exertion level of coming all the way back the way they did against Michigan yesterday, down double digits early in that game at halftime, and then coming all the way back for a 74-69 win. I worry about whether there's going to be gas in the tank here for this Indiana team, who got absolutely steamrolled by Illinois during the regular season. Like I said, it was a horrible matchup for them. I'm not convinced it's any better of a matchup for them today. So the lean's Indiana with the points, but I don't like the situation. I don't like the matchup. I don't like the fact that they had to work overtime just to come back and beat Michigan yesterday. You could see a team hit a physical wall here, and I don't want to be involved.
No move for Babano in Indiana, Illinois. This total has gone. The total's all over the map. You have some at 136.5, like PointsBet. Others up at 137.5. DraftKings at 138. Do you have any feel on this total?
You're going to get some pace from Indy. Woodson's actually played try to get them to run on missed shots at times. Illinois on the other side, they can play it either way. Is the shot making going to be there? It is an early game, so for that reason, I'd lean under, but it's nothing significant.
All right, and we do have Diesel in the house, a senior at Indiana U, which is great to get his insights in that. Cashman is parlaying Illinois money line with Tennessee alternate line -5.5 at +121. Okay, we are going to bounce back to college basketball, but we are going to hammer NHL first and get NHL out of the way. We've all locked in on the Pittsburgh Penguins to bounce back in this spot, and I'm thinking very seriously about moving on the under, but I would like more money to come, or at least a better number.
That's pretty cool, Mark Schillingberg, but that's a good point. He didn't make very good adjustments, Howard. He should have punched himself in the face, yeah.
Oh, and let's grab Ron Crawford here. And Jason M, it's 3 a.m. I guess, Jason, I believe Jason M is in Australia, I'm thinking. Jason M, where are you? Oh, no, it can't be Australia. That'd be a different... maybe it is Australia. I'm not sure where he is, but yes, we're going to give you as many best bets and all that as we can. All right, let's move on to Minnesota at Columbus. Man, talk about a smash and grab. Over 6 at -105 I got last night. Not even the game had been out for multiple hours. I don't know. I mean, clearly, when you look at Capo Kakkonen's stats over the last little while, I mean, he can't stop a beach ball. Either can Cam Talbot in the while they're rolling. And then you get this Jackets team who'd been scoring like crazy coming in off of a shot. There's Jason M. Australia. Much love, Jason. Thank you for rolling with us. I know it's very late for you. So this was a gift, I thought, at 6 at -105. Then this morning, I did Ron Mike Richards' a radio show here in Toronto, and it was at 6.5 at -105. And I wasn't going to give that out, a half goal difference. And now it's at 6.5 at -135. Unbelievable. Minnesota power play at 20.2%. Columbus power play at 17.8%. Not very strong power plays, but both penalty killing units are weak. 76.2 for Minnesota, which is shocking for an Everson coach squad. And then 79.3% penalty killing for Columbus. Let's move over to NHL quickly and just see. And we're going to get through these games very quick. We won't take long here. The Wild open up at minus 178. They're now up to minus 200 or minus 210. But watching them play, it doesn't instill any confidence in them. I mean, they let teams right back in it at all times. This opened here, funny. It opened at these Legal American books at 6.5, which is shocking because it was 6 available everywhere, and with no vig. Slatsy says both teams to score first period is at plus 150. Both teams are on the second half back-to-back. Wild coming in off that second straight win, 6-5 shootout victory at Detroit. They had lost 8 of 10 before these 2 wins. 50 goals over their last 13 games. Impressive. They've allowed 60 over that stretch. 4.6 a game. Talbot looks terrible. Kokkonen looks terrible. Kokkonen is a 4.43 goals against average during a 4-game losing streak. Matt Boldy looks so good. Man, not even 21. This 20-year-old has 23 points in his first 25 games. A second multiple goal game. He's just rolling. Blue Jackets, ugly 6-0 loss last night. They had won 9 of 11 up until February 24th, and they've fallen apart since then. 1-4-2. Corpusalo looked terrible last night. We're expecting Merzlikins to be back in, but he has a 4.1 goals against average over his last 7 games. And the Boone line was rolling until last night. Take it away here, Babano, Wild, Columbus.
Yeah, I actually bet this over 6 as well, and I'm going to make it official, even 6.5, even with the juice, as I think it flies over this total. It's just 2 teams that are lighting it up and 2 teams that are getting lit up defensively. So I don't mind taking a worse number and price with the total in terms of the show here. I think it'll end up going over. I'm here to win. I'm not here to push. I'm here to win. So I don't care about the 6 to 6.5. I'm still betting it. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And you see both of these teams that are capable offensively. Columbus has been shut down a little bit the last couple of games. You know, their offense has quieted down a little bit. Toronto held them in check. Obviously, last night against the Islanders, they get shut out 6-0. But Minnesota right now ain't playing that level of defense. And their goaltending, Kokkonen's caca right now for them. He hasn't been very good. Talbot hasn't been much better. You look at both Laine and Bjorkstrand have been terrific lately for Columbus. Who's not been good offensively lately for the Wild? Like even when the Wild were losing all those games and struggling before beating the Rangers in their last game and then winning against Detroit last night, you know, they were still scoring. And, you know, Kaprizov, look at Joel Eriksson-Ek now is back on track after a little funk. Matt Boldy is just absolutely sensational at the moment, as you just said. It's Ryan Hartman. How about the year he's had offensively? I mean, it's endless for Minnesota. They've got incredible depth. I don't trust either of these teams to keep the puck out of the net right now. And a good friend of mine on Twitter, everyone should follow him if they're a hockey bettor, Chris Otto, at PSU Auto. I mean, all the trends scream to the goals in this game. Minnesota's 9-1 to the over in the first period, their last 10. Columbus 6-4 to the over in the first period, their last 10 games. In the second period, Minnesota's 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. Columbus is 8-2 to the over, second period in their last 10 games. Third period over. Columbus, they've gone over in 10 straight games in the third period, over 1.5. Minnesota 9-1 to the over in the third period, the last 10 games. So both of these teams are heavily trending over 1.5 in each individual period, first, second, and third. So it's the perfect tonic, I think, for a goal fest tonight.
I love it. I'm just giddy over getting minus 105 on the 6, but that hasn't necessarily equated to glory for me this year, smashing market moves, because it feels like we do that day in and day out. Let's move on. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and here's a market move that's gone against me. Jets 25-22-10, 10-11-8 on the road. New York Islanders 21-24-8, 11-12-4 at home. We're at UBS Arena in Elmont, New York, and this has gone against me 5 cents. I took the over 6 at plus 100. It's now at plus 105. This is another spot where psychologically I do not know what Hellebuck is going to give the Winnipeg Jets. He's allowed at least 4 goals in each of his past 5 starts. He just watched Comrie stand on his head. You know, should be a legitimate goaltending controversy if Hellebuck gets lit up here again. I'm certain that Comrie will start the next game. Winnipeg power play at 21.8%, penalty killing at 77.2%, Islanders power play at 19.6%, penalty killing at 83%. It's kind of sad watching the Islanders have their best game of the year. Anders Lee hat trick, all these things that we thought we'd be seeing throughout the season, and we didn't see at all. Both teams are on the second half of the back-to-back. Jets coming off their second straight win, 2-1 at New Jersey last night. They're 5 points back of the Stars in the race for the Western Conference wildcard spot. And the Islanders coming off that 6-0 dismantling of Columbus last night. So take it away here. Jets, Islanders, and I'm on the over 6 plus 100.
All right, liking the over here in this one. I'd certainly lean that way, and because I've been betting a lot of Islander overs lately, a lot more. They're not that defensive stalwart. Last night they were. They only went over because they scored 6. I understand that, but prior to last night, they've not exactly been terrific defensively. I mean, you've seen them give up 3, 4, 5 even on occasion during this recent run, and they're on, like I said, a terrific overrun that's now at 7-2 in their last 9 games to the over for this Islanders team. The Jets with a 2-1 victory against the Devils last night. We'll see how this one plays out. The one concern here, I guess, would be is that we've seen pretty much an under series history with these 2. 3 straight have gone under, 4-1, 3-1, 2-0 with the Jets and the Islanders. I don't know if I'm going to make anything official yet on this game. I'm still mulling things over. But when I look at the back-to-back records, 3-4 for Winnipeg, 3-7 for the Islanders, and 2-3 after a win for the Islanders on a back-to-back. So it hasn't been great for them. I think the Jets could win this game here, to be honest. Now, the thing that concerns me is Hellebuck's not been very good lately. He's given up 4 goals or more in a lot of these recent starts. That does concern me a little bit. So when I look at this game, I'm leaning Winnipeg, leaning over. Haven't pulled the trigger yet. You know what? Maybe right before the show, I'll make up my mind. But right now, we're just leaning with Winnipeg and the over. But I like the Winnipeg side a little bit more. I think they're still a little bit better than the Islanders. And obviously, every game is significant. And I think the Jets are starting to play that way. I think that Tampa game really kind of got a little more confidence in this team, instilled a little bit more belief. I've liked their 2 games now back-to-back, these wins against Tampa and Jersey, the way they played. I would definitely lean Winnipeg here. In fact, I might make this official before we get off the air.
Okay, we have a lean towards the Winnipeg Jets. It was a huge punch to the gut when their coach of 8 years gives up on them halfway through the season. That's a tough thing, very, very tough thing to handle. Okay, let's move on here. No, Jose, there's about 10 more that I have to add to the list because we have only talked about one of 44 college basketball games that we were going to talk about. All right, and Slat says just a tip, Habs play Kraken tomorrow.
You got to use the word talk loosely because I'm going to be saying, a couple words and pass on a bunch of them.
No problem. Yeah, all good. And says the Bell Center will be jumping. Slatsy says, for the Habs, first full capacity game in over a year. Washington Capitals, Vancouver Canucks. This is a lone game I have not moved on. We're going to move on to NCAA basketball right after this. Capitals 31-18-10, 17-7-5 on the road. Canucks 29-23-6, 13-10-3 home at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. Vitek Vanacek going up against Thatcher Demko. Both goalies have been good this year. Vanacek 13-7-5, 2.32 goals against average, 9.19 save percentage. Demko 26-16 and 2.64 goals against average, 9.17 save percentage. Washington power play look to have awoken over the last week or 10 days. 17.8% power play being dismal all year. And we couldn't understand why, although Backstrom missed the first 25 or 30 games of the year, and Oshie's been hurt for most of the year. Canucks power play 21.5%, penalty killing 70.9%. We have the Knuckleheads opening up as -1, slight dogs, and now it's a pick 'em. Basically, this total opened up at 6. There are a couple 6.5s on the board. Capitals had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 4-3 overtime loss to Edmonton on Wednesday. They extended their point streak. Oshie scored 1.8 seconds left. Canucks coming off their 3rd straight win, 5-3 at home over the Habs. Habs have been playing very good hockey. Canucks have won 8 of 10. This is game 2 of a 7-game homestand, and JT Miller is hoping, and not saying it, but basically saying we think we can win out on this homestand, and if we do, we're going to be in a playoff position. And he's rolling 21 points in his last 10 games, 7 goals, 14 assists. Horvat is finally putting some points together, and Pedersen 17 points in his last 12 games. Take it away here, Babano, last game in NHL before we move over to NCAA basketball. Capitals Canucks.
Yeah, very easy decision over the total for me. How do you not take it with Vancouver right now? 9 straight overs, over machine. right now at the Vancouver Canucks. And I think that's definitely going to keep going here tonight. I mean, it's been they either score a lot of goals or they give up some. Lately, they've been scoring a bunch. They score 6 against Toronto, 5 against Montreal. They put up 4 against the Islanders, who, again, are a team that usually wants to play tight to the vest, a little stingier, and they still scored 4 in that game. The only game they've scored less than that was New Jersey, where they got bombed 7-2. They were pretty much out of it. Jaro Halak was in net that night. It was Jaro Shellacked that night in net. He was not good. 5-2 against the Rangers. They scored 5 against them, 7 against Calgary, 5 against Seattle. Go on down the list. I mean, the Canucks are feeling it right now. JT Miller is playing like a man possessed. I'm so impressed with the way he's playing. Whether he gets traded or not is irrelevant. The fact is he's playing well at the moment for the Canucks. Pedersen is starting to score. Besser's been good. I mean, who has not been contributing lately for the Vancouver Canucks? I lean Vancouver as well from a side perspective, but I think the total's the better look because Washington is playing better hockey right now. I like the way that the Capitals are playing. Their offense is starting to come back. It's amazing how much of a difference TJ Oshie makes. Look, they got him back now, and all of a sudden their offense is coming back to life with him back on the ice. Washington scored 3 against Edmonton, albeit in a loss in overtime. 5 in the big win against Calgary, 5 against Seattle, 4-0 performance against Carolina. I mean, they're playing good hockey too. So right now it's difficult for me to step in the way of either of these teams, but I like the over here. Washington's gone over in 3 straight. Vancouver on that 9-0 run to the over in their last 9 games. And this has actually been a series history that's trended over the total as well between the Washington Capitals and Vancouver Canucks, and a perfect 4-0 to the over in Vancouver. The last 4 meetings between Washington and Vancouver. I know we might have the best goalies that both teams have right now, Demko versus Vanacek in net, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think both of these teams can find their way to getting this game over this total of 6.
And do you want to move on the over 6?
Yes, official for sure.
So it's moved to 6.5 at a bunch of books. I can get a 6 at -128. And a 6 at -125, -125 at circa. And that is the best I can get. Over 6.
See what the penny line is. Let me just see what the penny line is.
It's -128 if I buy down to 6.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. We'll do that.
Okay, so -125. That's available at circa right now for Babano. Babano over 6 at -125. I'm off that game. I'm on the Jets. Islanders over 6 at +100. We'll see if Babano moves on the Jets. He's going to think about that throughout the show. He's on the over 6.5 at -119 in Wild Columbus. I'm on the over 6 at -105. And then we are all on the Penn spreadsheet play of the day. And Babano on both on regulation. I'm on the -1 at +110. All right, let's move on to college basketball, and we will be working quickly unless there are spots that we want to dive deeper in. So we do have at this point an hour and 9 minutes set aside for this. So we're hoping to bring Darryl on for NBA at 12:45 p.m. Eastern. And we've already talked Indiana, Illinois. Next up for us is at 12 p.m. the SEC tournament quarterfinal. Texas A&M 21-11, 9-9 in conference versus Auburn 27-4, 15-3 in conference. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Texas A&M opening up at +8.5. That's moved to 9.5. The total opened up at 139.5. Is now at 140.5. Texas A&M beat Florida to have this opportunity in the quarters, beat Florida 83-80 in overtime, and they have been winning basketball games. They've strung together a nice little run. Now, Auburn lost to Tennessee and lost to Florida, 2 losses over their last 5, but Texas A&M running real nice right now. They faced Auburn here on February 12th at Auburn and got beat up badly, 75-58. They had nobody score over 12 points in that game and were completely shut down. Let's see what happens or what Babano thinks will happen here. Take it away, Texas A&M, Auburn.
Yeah, I like the A&M Aggies here. I think it's a few too many points. This is the must-win doesn't equal will win. I get it, but for Texas A&M, they have to go out there and try to win this one. And I think if they do, I don't know about in the tournament, but boy, they're right there and a very real potential to make the tournament at the very least if they win this game. I'll tell you what, Buzz Williams has this team playing well down the stretch. This is probably the best basketball we've seen all year from the Texas A&M Aggies, no question. You've been making money with them if you've been backing this team. 5 straight point spread covers. Now, a few of those wins against some bottom feeders, like Georgia. Ole Miss is kind of not very good, especially offensively. They can play defense, but they can't shoot. Alabama's kind of went downhill down the stretch, and they beat them badly, 87-71. Beat Mississippi State, who've been erratic. But I'll tell you what, don't be fooled by the overtime result yesterday. They controlled that game for the most part. They kind of fell asleep late. Give Florida credit, they didn't give up, but A&M A&M just made some terrible plays down the stretch, and the execution in the final 2 minutes was awful, and it almost cost them. But thankfully, they survived it in overtime. Auburn, to me, is just a team that, you look at them, they've been overvalued. They've not been very good covering big numbers. We're now on a neutral floor, which is, a big deal that you're laying this kind of number. I know they ran circles around Texas A&M the first time, 75-58. But again, you have to put this season into segments. And back when Auburn played A&M wasn't playing the brand of basketball they're playing right now. So it's not just who you play, it's when you play them. Now Auburn's playing an A&M team that is very, very confident at the moment and needs this game like a human being needs oxygen to breathe. I'm on A&M here, plus 9.5. I think, again, the overtime game's a mild concern. Are those legs going to give out maybe in the second half after having to go to OT yesterday, whereas Auburn's fresh and rested? Definitely could. I probably will split this up a little bit with a A&M first half look and a full game look, but just for the show purposes, I will just go with the full game here. A&M plus 9.5.
Good news. There is a plus 10 available.
Or plus 10. We'll take that.
Plus 10 available at circa at minus 110. There's Mr. Gokster in the house. And there's Rayhan Hyder in business. Can't wait to party with you in San Antonio, my man. So I'm going to be multitasking here, preparing a little bit for our graphics for the last games from like 10 o'clock at night on. So I'm going to be multitasking, and I'm going to be line shopping, and we're going to be working together. So if we could get some help line shopping, that would be great. But we have Babano on the board. Plus 10 at minus 110 for Texas A&M. That's available right now at circa. So let's get this set here. And next up, we have the A10 quarters. Fordham, 16-15, 8-10 in conference versus Davidson, 25-5, 15-3 in conference. We're at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. for this. We have Fordham opening up as 11.5-point dogs. That's moved to 13 at Caesars, 12.5 at other books. This total is dropping quite quick. Open at 131, and now we see 128. This game pops off in 19 minutes. Fordham took out George Mason in a very low-scoring affair, 54-49 to get here. They've now won 3 of 4 games. Davidson was absolutely rolling and then went into Dayton and lost 82-76 right before or the final game of the regular season. And maybe that slap in the face will help Davidson here. They are big favorites in the A10 quarters. Take it away, Babano. Fordham, Davidson.
Yeah, this is a game that I'm not involved in. I would just slightly lean to the over and go against the market move toward the under. I get it. Fordham's not very efficient. Davidson's not very fast, but Davidson's very efficient offensively. I think they'll score here pretty well against Fordham. And the last game that stayed under was a very poor shooting night, extremely poor shooting night for both teams. So I think there's some positive regression for the shooting of both teams here, the Rams and the Davidson squad Wildcats as well. So no official plays, but a small bet, small lean for me to the over.
Small lean to the over. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have La Tech, North Texas. North Texas completely shutting down Rice last night. We cashed the under easily. Just 118 points were scored overall. I even got a 125.5 and didn't flinch when I bet it. Going up against Louisiana Tech, let's move and see what we are dealing with. La Tech opening up as 6-point dogs. That's all the way down to 2.5 at Caesars. A huge move towards La Tech. Then we have this total opening up at 123.5. We see 122.5s and 122s. This game pops off in 47 minutes. Louisiana Tech coming in off of defeating Western Kentucky 59-57 to have this opportunity in the semis. They've won 3 of their last 4, and North Texas looked really sharp against Rice, and maybe that is no surprise. And they got what we might think that Davidson got, that slap in the face to finish off the regular season, that wake-up call from UTEP. Take it away here, Babano, La Tech, North Texas.
Yeah, is there an injury? I don't know. I've not followed why this line's moving the way it is. All I know is that North Texas is the best team in this con. I always thought from the very beginning North Texas versus UAB was going to be this championship game in this conference, and there's nothing that indicates otherwise to me. Now, Louisiana Tech, you have to respect them. This is a good basketball team, very capable. Kenneth Lofton's a great player. They play pretty solid defensively, this Bulldogs team. They're not going to out-defend North Texas because North Texas is the best defensive team in Conference USA. And I think when you look at the experience that they bring to the table, when you look at Grant McCasland, who's a terrific head coach, I just think when you look at this matchup, North Texas is going to find a way. Close games, they live for close games, North Texas. They've been very good in close games. And I think they're going to find a way to get this done here against Louisiana Tech. Again, Bulldogs, if they win, it's not a total shocker, but I thought from the very beginning it was going to be North Texas versus UAB. So I'm gonna pump the brakes on betting it until I know more. But I would probably actually look at, and in terms of the other game in this conference, UAB laying I think 6.5 against MTSU. I did bet a money line parlay, North Texas and UAB. That's the way I approached it. So that is the way where I'm going with this game plus the other game in Conference USA, the 2 semifinals.
Okay, we're going to keep on rolling. We have 1 hour, and in an hour, we're going to have Darryl joining us, but we are going to keep rolling here. Next up, we have the AAC quarters. We're in Fort Worth, Texas, Dickies Arena for Cincinnati, Houston. Cincinnati 18-14, 7-11 in conference versus number 18, Houston. Cougars 26-5, 15-3 in conference. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with here in the Action Network. We have Cincinnati opening up at +12. They're now 12.5. This total opened up at 133. It is now 133.5. Cincy took out East Carolina last night, 74-63, to have this opportunity. And Houston had this thing that I do think helps. They were rolling, winning easily, and then lose by 14 at Memphis in the final game of the regular season. Take it away here, Babano. Bearcats, Cougars.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this, it's boy, it doesn't feel like it's a bargain with Houston, but how do you take Cincy when you see how Houston's just clobbered them this season? Not once, but twice. 80-58, 71-53. And Houston is what? 6 straight covers, 5-1 straight up, 6-0 ATS head-to-head against. It's just been a bad matchup for Cincinnati. And it's not like Cincinnati down the stretch played very well. You know, they lost 5 straight to close the regular season. At SMU, at Houston. Horrible loss at home. Horrible to South Florida. They lose on the road to Central Florida. They lose at home to Temple as favorites. They did beat East Carolina, and I actually faded Cincinnati yesterday. Tough beat because East Carolina was in that game the whole way. They totally shit the bed in the last 2 minutes, and they ended up losing by double digits. Tough if you had East Carolina plus the points in that game. Yeah, I'd only look Houston, but laying 12 on a neutral court in a conference tournament, I need a damn good reason to ever lay that many points in a conference tournament game. I just don't feel comfortable ever laying double digits on a conference tournament game on a neutral court. So lean Houston, but I'm passing.
All right. That is the final game on the 1 p.m. slate. We move on to 2 p.m. Let's get this rolling. That is the SEC that starts off our 2 p.m. action. We have SEC and Big Ten popping off there, both quarters. SEC tournament quarterfinal, LSU 22-10, 9-9 in the SEC versus number 15, Arkansas 24-7, 13-5 in conference. We're at Abilene Arena in Tampa. Let's move over here. So we have, sorry, let's get this up. So LSU was almost a pick 'em at the opener. There was almost a pick 'em and +1s. They're now +3.5. So moving quickly towards Arkansas. This total opened up at 138.5 and is all the way up to 141.5. LSU looked very good. I know that The final score was 76-68. Missouri fought back, but Missouri was completely dominated in the first half by the Tigers. And Arkansas had the – I keep mentioning it. I love the loss before these conference tournaments. I love it. I always have loved getting a little bit of a wake-up call. Arkansas got that at Tennessee, and they were barely squeaking out victories. They probably needed to take an L. They beat Kentucky by 2. They beat LSU by 1, and then they lose at Tennessee. Take it away here, Babano, LSU, Arkansas.
This is disappointing because I like Arkansas. I bet Arkansas. I'm not betting Arkansas now, at least for the show standpoint. I mean, it's moved, and it's moved to the point where on a neutral court, when I see 1.5 to 3, 3.5, like this game's moved toward Arkansas, that's enough to pump the brakes, in my opinion. So, and I look at it now, I'd still look Arkansas. Like if you're going to take them now, what I would do is do what I did and take money line. Like don't mess around with -2 or -2.5. Oftentimes it is worth it to pay the price and get this thing bet up here on the money line instead, because you just don't want these shenanigans late in the game where you're up by 4 and someone hits a 3 at the buzzer and they win by 1. Where you still cash with the money line and maybe you lose if you laid the 2 or 2.5. So I still like Arkansas rather, money line here in this game. They found a way to beat LSU, of course, during the regular season. LSU played them tough, but I just think LSU, it just cannot match the defensive intensity, has struggled at times with the pressure that Arkansas brought in the regular season meetings. I'm not sure it's going to change here. And look, LSU up and down second half of the season, Arkansas peaking, playing their best. So I like Arkansas. It has moved enough, though, where I'm going to not make it an official play.
I am very high on this Razorback squad. I know we'll know a lot more after Selection Sunday, but what are your thoughts on this team going deep in the tournament?
I think they've got a great chance. JD Notae's playing at a high level. The defense and the pressure that they've given on teams has been terrific. I think their crunch time execution has been so impressive. The one thing about Arkansas is they play a lot of close games. They have played a lot of close games, and that is definitely going to make you a better team come tournament time. Eric Musselman knows how to navigate his teams through an NCAA tournament and win games. He's done it before multiple times with Nevada. And then, of course, with Arkansas, since he's been here. So they check a lot of boxes, Arkansas, in terms of March success.
I'm excited. I do. I think they're junkyard dogs, and they can play tough and play any which way. And sometimes I get a little uncomfortable with not enough size, but I'm very high on them. Okay, let's move on. And I'd be interested if we get confirmation, but it sounds like there will be a big Sunday night live Selection Sunday show here on Pub Sports Radio. I'll get confirmation on that. Next up, we have 2 p.m. Big Ten quarters. Number 24 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Iowa 23-9, 12-8 in conference. Rutgers 18-12, 12-8 in conference. We're at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have, let's get this over here. Sorry, we have Iowa 7-point favorites. Not a lot of market breakdowns here. It looks, I don't know if it wasn't available at PointsBet, BetMGM, or what have you, but that's all we have right here is Bet Rivers holding it at 7. The total opening up at 144. It's now at 144.5. Iowa just lit up and smoked Northwestern, put up 112 points, and looked very, very good doing it. Rutgers got over that bump losing streak. They win at Indiana 66-63, and then 5 days ago win at home over Penn State by a point, just a point. And Iowa faced this Rutgers squad in that wild January 19th game, and I shouldn't say wild, 48-46 final at Rutgers, a very, very low-scoring game. Here we go. Take it away, Babano. Big Ten action, Iowa-Rutgers.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a pass for me. I thought for sure when Rutgers getting this number of points usually is always something I'm interested in, but I don't know if I'm interested in going against Iowa right now. Like I can't believe I'm saying it. They're playing defense, and they've never done that consistently under McCaffrey. Their offense is electric right now. We just saw them just destroy and take apart Northwestern yesterday. that's concerning for Rutgers is that if they get behind by 10 or 15, and I like, Geo Baker and Ron Harper, and I like a lot of elements of that Rutgers team, but they are not the kind of team that's going to extricate themselves from a large deficit if it happens. And Iowa can just rain the points on you very quickly. Now, Rutgers is pretty tough, physical. You're going to want to muck this game up. They're capable of doing that. I very much want to take Rutgers, but I'm telling you what, Iowa just looks locked in. Iowa looks like they're playing with a purpose to win this Big Ten tournament, and that's not something I'm going against, so pass for me.
Do you feel like after watching Iowa hit every basket, just completely dominate, that they may not find that comfort early? I find that in these tournaments when a team, I know that this is probably
shoots the lights out, they go the opposite way, especially early in the next game. There's some.
We saw that with Toledo. Yeah. I mean, it's a little different because it was the end of the regular season before the conference tournament. But don't you think this is going to be a much tougher situation, and that maybe, or what do you think about that? How do you handle that? Do you trust what you saw? It sounds like you did.
Yeah, it's something. Then I've seen instances where the team that's just played great the last game and finished strong, and they carry it over and have a strong start the next game. I mean, we're already seeing in this first game here, Indiana, they're carrying over some momentum from yesterday, that comeback against Michigan. So they haven't hit that wall yet, or they haven't had that regression to the mean, if you will, following that, because they shot the lights out in the second half against Michigan. So maybe Iowa does carry it over. So I think it's case by case. And then I've seen instances where the team plays and shoots and scores the points the way Iowa did yesterday, and they come back the next day and they either are off to a slow start, and then instances where they're still carrying it over and playing well offensively from the very beginning in the next game. So it's a difficult thing to really pinpoint for me, at least.
Well, I am going to wait. I imagine that the gambling public will not stop thinking about Iowa putting up 112 points. And I am going to see if I can get a better line than the 7 if I wait. Now, obviously, this game starts at 2 p.m. But I'm going to be on Rutgers, and maybe just Rutgers early.
I lean Rutgers. I lean Rutgers totally. I just worry about going against this Iowa machine at the moment. But I lean that way, too. It feels like it's a little high. It does feel that way.
They've been so good, Iowa. But that was ludicrous yesterday. There's just no way that they could do anything like that today. I do not believe. I think this will be a much, much different game. And maybe they take care of business. But I think that I'll get a better line than 7. But I think I'm going to focus on first half instead. But I'm going to be moving on Rutgers. And I expect to get a better line here. We will see, because that pops off in 2 hours and 4 minutes. Let's move on to the A10 quarters. St. Louis Billikens, St. Bonaventure Bonnies. St. Louis 22-10, 12-6 in the A10. St. Bonaventure 28, 12-5 in the A10. We're at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. for this. St. Louis opening up as a 2-point favorites. They're now 2-point dogs. Money coming in on the Bonnies. This total opening up at 139 has dropped fast, all the way down to 134.5. 134.5 at PointsBet. The Billikens come off of that 75-51 beatdown, and it was an impressive beatdown of LaSalle. And I know LaSalle was 5-13 in conference, but they held LaSalle to 31.5% field goal, 15.4% three-point shooting, and it was impressive. And look, I know that the Bonnies' win over Richmond was also quality and against a much better opponent. I'm looking forward to hear your breakdown. Take it away here. St. Louis Billikens, St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
And going against Bonnies right now, especially when they've had the matchup advantages during the regular season against St. Louis. Billikens were too erratic for my liking. This is obviously an upperclassman-laden, senior-laden St. Bonaventure team that finally started playing their best basketball late in the season. I think they actually want to kind of win this A10 tournament. I think it would be a great thing. When you have these teams that are loaded with the juniors and seniors like the Bonnies, I think there's actually some want to win the conference tournament, to go out in style with the final year that this core group is together. I ain't going against that. So Haven't bet it yet, but strong lean St. Bonaventure.
Okay, we're going to move over to Conference USA, and you gave us a hint of who you like in this game with your talk about the Blazers expecting a North Texas UAB final. We're at the Ford Center, and let's break this one down. There we go. Let's break this one down. UAB 25-7, 14-4 in conference versus Middle Tennessee 23-9, 13-5 in conference. Hold on, let's go and let's pull up the Action Network and see what we are dealing with in this one. UAB opening up as 6.5-point favorites. It's moved to 7 at Caesars and FanDuel and DraftKings. This total opening up at 140.5 is down to 137.5. And this team is just rolling the Blazers. Middle Tennessee had a big win at home versus UTEP to stop that 2-game losing streak. But we have a team here in UAB that's won 5 straight, hasn't lost since that 1-point home loss to North Texas, and feels good about themselves. They destroyed Middle Tennessee at home, 97-75, back on February 5th. Take it away here, Babano. Conference USA semis, UAB, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee State, incredible point spread team, and look at all the money that's come in on UAB here. This opened at 4, it's up to 7, and no, like I said a minute ago, the bet for me here is, don't worry about laying the 7 with UAB or laying the 3, whatever it is with North Texas. I'm just putting them together in a 2-team money line parlay. Like I said, they're the 2 best teams in Conference USA all year. I expected from the very beginning of this tournament. I thought actually UTEP could be the team in this conference tournament that could upset the apple cart and maybe knock off a UAB or North Texas. But unfortunately, UTEP got knocked off by Middle Tennessee last night. So, and Middle Tennessee is good. I mean, they're a solid team. They're decent enough offensively. But I think in this matchup, UAB does have a very good defensive team. And UAB, what they can do is they push the ball up and down the court. They're very good offensively, very balanced inside-outside attack. Andy Kennedy's done a great job with this group this year. And I think just a little too much for Middle Tennessee. And unlike UTEP, who can struggle to score, and Middle Tennessee sometimes can feast on that because they're a good enough offensive team. When the opponent can't score, they can win. UAB can score. UAB is very good offensively, and I think that's going to be much more of a challenge. I think UAB wins. I don't know about cover because you're talking about -7 now, but I think they win the game. And like I said earlier, I've got a money line parlay for the 2 semifinals in Conference USA. UAB North Texas, I got that around +115.
And do you want to make that an official?
I will actually. Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to line shop for you and see what I can get. The UAB North Texas money line parlay. I will line shop. And I will pick the right time to do that on a game where you want to break down. We keep moving. AAC Conference quarterfinals. Tulane, the Green Wave, 13-14, 10-8 in conference versus the Temple Owls, 17-11, 10-7 in conference. We're back in Fort Worth for this. We have Tulane opening up as 1-point favorites. It's all over the board right now. It's all over the board. They're saying here on Action, I don't know if this is a stale line, but they're saying that FanDuel actually has Temple as a slight favorite, but other books have moved Tulane to 2-point favorites like Caesars, 1.5 at BetMGM. This total opening up at 137 is down to 135.5. And in these teams just met on the 27th of February in a 75-70 win for Temple. They followed that up, and we were on Temple that day, and I'm not sure which one of our NCAA experts took us to that spot. I think it might have been CMAC. Then they went into Houston and got absolutely destroyed, 84-46. It was ugly, and then they bounced back against South Florida, destroying a weak South Florida squad. Very interesting spot here. Tulane Temple. Take it away, Babano.
Yeah, I like Tulane here. I'm going to take Tulane money line, best price available. Ron Hunter, this coach is one of my favorites. He really is, and what he has been able to get from this Tulane team this year has been really something to behold. I mean, really, when you look at their conference season down the stretch, all their losses were to good teams: SMU, Houston twice. Memphis, when Memphis was coming on like a freight train. in the final month of the regular season. I mean, this Tulane team's, I think they can beat teams that are, below that core. Now, they played Temple twice. They won in overtime in the first game, 92-83. They lost the second game, 75-70. And one thing I'm keeping my eye on, and I've noticed here more and more, is that when you have a split regular season with two teams and they're playing each other in the conference tournament, I find the team that lost the most recent meeting is a good bet in the conference tournament. So in that case, that's Tulane. They lost the most recent meeting to Temple. I think they get the bounce back here in this one because they go overtime, making the corrections, making the adjustments. What didn't work when we played Temple last time? And let's be honest, too, from a coaching standpoint in this matchup, Ron Hunter has been in tons of conference tournaments in his coaching career, going all the way back to when he took Georgia State to the NCAA tournament years ago. What do we say about Aaron McKee? This is new territory for him, essentially. He is definitely, I think, going to be a little unfamiliar territory, I think, trying to navigate his way through a conference tournament. It's a totally different deal. You got a quick turnarounds, and you got to play the next day, and you got to get your team ready. I think this is an advantage for Ron Hunter and Tulane, and I like the way they played down the stretch. I think they win this game. Green Wave for me, money line.
Green Wave money line. Cashman found you a -115. Thank you for the help, Cashman. What up, good? What up, Polly Walnuts? Great to see everybody rolling with us. This is great. So we have locked in Babano on Tulane at -1.7 or -115. Tulane money line -115. All right, then we move over to the SWAC. A little SWAC action for us. We have the SWAC tournament semis. Grambling 12-19, 9-9 in conference versus Texas Southern, 16-12, 13-5 in conference. We are at Bartow Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. We have Grambling snapping a lengthy losing streak with a 60-58 win over Southern, over the Jags, to finally get off the schneid and have some confidence here, rolling in to the semis, winning the quarters. And we have, so let me pull up the market movement here in Grambling State, Texas Southern. Grambling opening up at +6.5. There are sixes on the board, and this total opening up at 133 is now 134.5. And Texas Southern, only a loss to Alcorn State. They took out Jackson State in the quarters in a very low-scoring affair. They won despite hitting just 32.7% from the field in their 54-50 win, and they were down 5 at the break. Take it away here, Babano. Grambling State, Texas Southern.
Yeah, I like the dog here. Grambling, it's too many points. Texas Southern's not winning by margin right now. You look at Texas Southern down the stretch. 4-point win in the first conference tournament game the other day against Jackson State, 54-50. They only beat Prairie View by 1 point, as 7-point favorites at the end of the regular season. They lost as favorites to Alcorn State. They did beat Jackson State by 15. That's their one victory by margin recently. They only beat Pine Bluff by 2, and they were laying 9 in that game. They did beat down the Delta Devils, who are terrible, so you can throw that out. They lost to Southern as favorites. They only beat Grambling by 3 the last time they played Grambling. Only beat Bethune-Cookman by 3 as 7.5-point favorites. And Grambling lost by 6 points or less in both games this year head-to-head against Texas Southern. I like Texas Southern, no doubt. It's a good program. It's always been one of the top programs here in the SWAC. No complaints about them. They're very solid at both ends of the floor. They always are one of the better teams here in this conference. No question about that. Johnny Jones, who coached at North Texas and LSU, and now is the coach of this team. He's been around the block. Always has a pretty solid team here, but it's just too many points. Grambling got a nice win in their last tournament game. They've been a good dog. Texas Southern hasn't been winning games by margin for the most part. Grambling lost, was competitive in both meetings with Southern during the season. Texas Southern, 6 points or less. It's just too many points. I'm on Grambling +7.
And what can anybody find us a nice number for Grambling? Because it's going down quickly. It's 5.5 at Circa. It's +6 at Pinnacle at -106. Can anybody find us a 6.5 That would be very helpful if you could. We move on to the MAC semis, 5 p.m. Eastern. We got Babano going through every single one of these games today, all 44 college basketball games here on Pub Sports Radio. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Akron, 22-9, 14-6 in conference versus Toledo, 26-6, 17-3 in conference. We're at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. I would love to drive down to Cleveland for one of these tourneys here. Akron opening up at plus 5.5. It's at 5 at FanDuel. This total opening up at 140. It's now 139 or 138.5. Akron is rolling, absolutely rolling. First, let's talk about Toledo. On seniors night against Bowling Green to clinch the regular season conference title, we took Toledo first half. We took Toledo team total over, and we looked like geniuses. We stayed off them against Central Michigan, and they looked awful in that first game. And I want to go, and I didn't bet them in that game, but I'd like to bet them. When you have your worst performance and you sneak through, and then you wake up and you are sitting in the semis, and all your dreams can still happen, which we think is a Kent State-Toledo final. I think they can be very, very dangerous in this spot. Against Akron, they even get, when was, I don't even see Akron here on this. They've not played Akron this season. Oh, shit, no, I'm looking at Akron. That's my fault. Of course they played Akron. Toledo, January 28th, they lose 84-76 at Toledo. And I want to go right back to the well, and I want everybody to feel and bet Akron and think about how bad Toledo looked yesterday, and then I want to bet Toledo here to take care of business, first half, full game. Should I have trepidation, Babano? Take it away, Akron, Toledo.
Yeah, I'm certainly not stepping in front of Toledo. The question is, do I want to lay the points with them in this game? They weren't that sharp offensively, and for a lot of the season, that hasn't been the case. They're a terrific offensive team, but 72 points is pretty disappointing from their standpoint. But you really look at it, and maybe it's just that matchup against Central Michigan that's caused them some trouble. Because you actually look in 2 games against the Chippewas this year, they only scored 68 and 72. It was 2 of their lowest outputs all year, aside from the loss against Kent State, who are the hottest team in the MAC right now. So I think you give Toledo a little break for that they struggled a little bit offensively. It might just be a matchup situation. They did not have any issues with Akron scoring against them earlier this year. Back in January, they played 84-76. The game went over the total. I'm going to make an official play on this one, Jimmy, but I'm going to make it on the team total here for Toledo. I find that's always a better bet with them sometimes than laying the points. I think the team total is set. I see 72 minus 110 at Bet Online. Let's lock that in. Toledo team total over 72 at Bet Online.
Okay. 72 flat?
Yep, minus 110.
Okay, yeah, that's good because this one is 72.5 over at Pinnacle. So let's get you. Oh, by the way, we did get you 6.5 at minus 110 on the Grambling spot, and shout out to Fanatical Jim for finding that for us.
Very good.
Okay, Toledo team total over 72 at minus 110, available right now at Bet Online. And I'm going to be moving on Toledo. This is a spot that traditionally I like. So let's keep rolling here. We move. That's the only 5 p.m. Eastern game. We move over to more SEC action, the SEC quarters, and that is Mississippi State, 18-14, 8-10 in conference, versus number 9 Tennessee Volunteers, 23-7, 14-4 in conference. And we are at Abilene Arena here. Let's pull up this spot and move over to the Action Network and see what we are dealing with. We have, what the hell is that? There we go. Mississippi State opening up as 6.5-point dogs. They've moved to 7.5, even 8 at Caesars Sportsbook. This total opening up at 131 is still there, but there are 130.5s available. Mississippi State beat up on South Carolina last night, 73-51. Very easy, a very comfortable victory. They were coming in off back-to-back losses. They'd lost at Auburn 81-68 in overtime at home, and then went to Texas A&M and lost a tight one, 67-64. And Tennessee won 4 straight after their lone loss, or after their last loss at Arkansas, and that was such a tough basketball game. They played Tennessee on February 9th at home and lost 72-63, lost by 9. Take it away here, Babano. Mississippi State, Tennessee.
I would lean Tennessee here, and I don't now. I don't know what to make of that yesterday by Mississippi State, because I thought this team was going to be one and done. I thought South Carolina was not only going to cover but beat them yesterday, because I didn't like a lot of the things I was seeing from Mississippi State. Apparently, there's some tension with the team. Players might be mentally checking out. Ben Howland's job security is at risk. There's talk he might not be brought back after this season, which has been a disappointing season for Mississippi State. But all that rhetoric didn't appear that way yesterday. They looked locked in. They looked focused. They looked like they had a point to prove. And it looked like it was a pretty solid effort from Mississippi State in that game. And then they just pulled away from South Carolina late in that game, and they ended up winning it decisively. So give them credit, no question. They ended up having a very, very good finish to that basketball game to pull away from the Gamecocks. They don't match up terribly with Tennessee, but Tennessee's obviously a lot better than South Carolina. And I don't like losing with one team the previous day and then going on them the next day. And then what if Tennessee rolls here? And then I'll be really upset. So it's a pass for me. I'm just staying away. I had my doubts about Mississippi State. I thought they would be a fade in this tournament. They weren't, obviously, yesterday, but this is a much better opponent today. I've still got my doubts. I would lean Vols.
Diesel says Tennessee rolls. Cashman says, I agree. Tennessee rolls. Andrew Carr says Tennessee crushed them in Starkville. Billy Friedrich is taking Mississippi
But Rick Barnes
State.
stinks in the postseason. I totally 100% agree with that. That's why I'm not laying the points with Tennessee.
All right. Okay, let's keep rolling. We're going to head over to the Southland semis, 6 p.m. Eastern. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, 21-11, 7-7 in conference versus the Nicholls State Colonels, 21-10, 11-3 in conference. We are in Katy, Texas for this one, and we have. I thought I had this up here. Here we go. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. I'll just call them Corpus Christi opening up at +5. Now you see a 6.5 on the board at PointsBet. And this total opening up at 146.5 has dropped to 145.5. These two teams faced each other 9 days ago at Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Nicholls Colonels took care of business comfortably, 86-75. And Texas A&M was rolling at that point. The Islanders were rolling. And both teams shot the lights out in this game. Nicholls shot 54.1% from the field, 37 from 3, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi wasn't far behind, 48.4% from the field, 38.9% from 3. It was 19 turnovers that hurt the Islanders. Take it away here. Do you agree with this market move towards the Colonels Southland Tournament semis, Texas A&M Corpus Christi versus Nicholls State?
I like the over in this game. We'll lock that in as an official play. I mean, I understand. Look, people are just going to knee-jerk bet unders in these conference tournaments. I get it, right? It's the stakes are higher, pressure's on, defense maybe takes over late, especially in a close game. But this total dropping from 149 to 145.5, it's a bit too much when you look at the matchup here. Corpus Christi and Nicholls State. They played each other twice in the regular season, 83-80, 86-75. Both of those games went over the total. 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over the total. Down the stretch, Nicholls State was a all-offense, no-defense team, scoring 80s, scoring 90s. They play with pace. They went over in 3 games straight to end the regular season. And when you look at the numbers here as well in this conference in terms of pace numbers and the like, in conference play, we've got Nicholls State in terms of tempo, very, very strong in that regard. And of course, Texas A&M Corpus Christi as well, solid in terms of push and pace. Nicholls State number 2 in the conference in terms of offensive efficiency. To me, there's just gone a little too carried away here, the betting markets in terms of the the under in this game. So I like this total over. Now you can get 145.5, Jimmy. I'm pretty sure of that. It's 145.5 in most spots. I like that number. We'll fade the market here.
There's some wild stuff going on with this total. So it's 145.5 is the over is minus 120 in Pinnacle. I know I can find better than that. You know what Circa's hanging right now? Over 144 at minus 124.
Wow.
And there's no options there. That's you can't get an alternate line from that. So there's an over 144 at minus 124. Billy Friedrich sees an over 146 at minus 105 at Bet Online. So we'll keep line shopping for you. But do you have the
144 minus 124 is fine for me personally.
Okay, let's grab it.
Minimal difference between the 145.5 minus 120 for 4 cents to get 1.5 points better of the total. I'll take that. Yeah.
All right. You are locked in. More official action for Babano. Again, we're going to go over everything here. Next up, we head over to the MEAC semifinal. Morgan State, 13-13, 7-6 in conference versus Norfolk State, 22-6, 12-2 in conference. And we're in Norfolk, Virginia for this. Morgan State opening up as 5.5-point dogs. Let's move to 6 at Caesars. And this total opening up at 140.5 is sitting at 140.5, although Caesars has brought it up a point. So let's just take a quick table setting situation here. We have both teams. Well, Norfolk has won 4 straight now, but Morgan State is rolling, and these teams met on the 21st of February in an 85-74 victory for Morgan State, and they really turned it around late in the season. 5-game winning streak, have won 6 of 7. They squeaked by South Carolina State. They barely beat Coppin State. This is a team that's winning basketball games all of a sudden after a tough start to the season. So take it away here, Babano, the MEAC semis, Morgan State, Norfolk State.
This was a pretty interesting game here. Norfolk State, obviously, they've been outstanding. But, boy, this Morgan State team coming like a freight train down the stretch, played some excellent basketball and beat Norfolk State 85-74 the last time they played. Now, Norfolk won the first meeting 82-62, but something tells me this could be a competitive game. And for as good as Norfolk State is, I think they're the class of this conference. If they win the conference tournament, wouldn't surprise me. I think they'll win the game, but this could be competitive here. I mean, Norfolk's only won 2 and 3 ATS their last 5 games. The victories, NC Central, they crushed them, and Howard, very impressive. Didn't cover against Delaware State. They won by 4 against South Carolina State. I don't know. I mean, Morgan's playing very well, but Norfolk is the best team, I think, in this conference. They should have Morgan, obviously, semifinals, so both teams are amped up, but especially with Norfolk losing the last time they played Morgan, I think they'll find a way to win. Just a question of, do you want to lay 5.5, 6? I don't, but I think Norfolk does advance. Pass for me. I'm not going to be involved.
Okay, we have a pass from Babano in the MEAC semis. Let's move over to the Metro semi. Ryder 14-8, 8-12 in the Metro versus Monmouth 20-12, 11-9 in conference. We are in Atlantic City for this one. We have Ryder opening up as 4.5-point dogs, and this total at 133.5. And let's just jump in here quickly. We have 3 straight wins for Ryder, and of course, 2 in this tournament. And that win over Iona was monstrous. 71-70 upset of Iona after beating Manhattan. Now, we had them over Manhattan, and Pistol Pete Loshak saying Ryder -4, courtesy of the Doors. Ryder, you know what? I'll let Babano hit that because I know he's saying we've hit. Monmouth has won 2 of their last 3, and they squeaked by Niagara 61-58. And let's just take a quick look at when these two teams met, Ryder and Monmouth. Ryder met Monmouth in twice this year. So they went into Monmouth and lost by 2 points, 60-58, and then exacted revenge just 6 days ago at home, beating Monmouth 74-65. Take it away here, Babano. Can this Rider train, does the glass slipper fit?
I think it does. I like the points here with Rider. I'm on Rider plus the points. Rider's on the storm. You're absolutely right. The doors. Rider's been good down the stretch. They beat Iona, upset the number 1 seed, played a great game both ends of the floor. They won their last 2 before that. They're playing their best ball. They've constantly been a thorn in Monmouth's side. Even the one game that Monmouth won against Rider was 60-58 back in February 18th. Rider got them in the rematch. Rider's covered 5 straight against Monmouth. Monmouth's shown no ability to beat Rider by any sort of margin here in recent games. And Monmouth also played the later game last night against Niagara, whereas Rider comes into this game with a day off. So it's a rest edge. It's a prep edge for Rider going into this game as well. Monmouth hasn't been able to beat this team by margin. Rider for me, plus 4.5.
All right,
Official.
let's lock you in with Rider here. Lock you in. While I'm doing that, let's move this over here. Rider riding the love with Rider. Okay, let's move on to 6 p.m. Eastern, and this is the A10 quarters. A10 quarters here. We have UMass 15-16, 7-11 in conference versus Dayton 22-9, 14-4 in conference. We are at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Let's get over here and see what we are dealing with in this UMass spot. UMass opening up as 10.5-point dogs. That's moved to 11. This total opening up at 144.5 has dropped all the way down to 139.5 at Bet Rivers. A huge move here to the under in the A10 quarters. By the way, Texas A&M up 5 points right now, 17-12, looking good for you, Babano. UMass has won 3 straight. They beat Fordham, beat George Mason in overtime, and then in round to get into the quarters, they defeated George Washington yesterday 99-88, put up 99 points. Their last 4 games have all been over 81 or more points. Dayton took out Davidson in their last regular season game before the tournament started, 82-76. They had a strange loss at LaSalle by 2 points, but other than that, they've been taking care of business. Let's just take a look at when these two teams played, UMass and Dayton. They faced each other 3 weeks ago. February 23rd, UMass went to Dayton and lost by 21 points. Will it be different here today, Babano? Take it away. The A10 quarters, UMass Dayton.
I give UMass credit for competing hard, but they got rolled by Dayton. Dayton is better. Dayton is rested. Dayton's been on a point spread run. It's Dayton or pass for me, but I'm not laying doubles in a neutral court. I've said that already, so we can move on.
All right, let's move on. And we head to a big one. Big East Tournament semis. This is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Creighton, 21-10, 12-7 in conference versus number 11, Providence, 25-4, 14-3 in conference. We're at Madison Square Garden in New York for this one. Let's see what the Blue Jays are hanging right now. You can get the Blue Jays plus 3.5. It opened. It's now 3 at Caesars and 2.5 at PointsBet. Money coming in on Creighton. Then you have this total opening up at 131, and it has dropped all the way down to 129.5. 129.5. And let's just jump over here very, very quickly to the Big East Tournament semis. Creighton, Providence. The Blue Jays got to the semis by defeating Marquette yesterday, 74-63. They faced Providence at Providence and got destroyed on the 26th of February. They lost 70-51. Will this game be different? Take it away, Babano. Creighton, Providence.
People keep lining up hand over fist to bet against Providence, and it's amazing they keep losing their ass. It's just, I find it hilarious that people just say they're lucky, they don't belong, they should be, they're a fraud, all this stuff. Maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's just they have a winning gene. They have ability to execute in crunch time. Maybe they're very well coached. Maybe that's it. I think it's all those things. They just have a way to find ways to win. They make plays, they make shots in crunch time. They get defensive stops at crunch time. I think Ed Cooley has been always a great coach here all these years he's been at Providence. I think it's time people give them their due and stop saying they're lucky. They're fortunate. Oh, they're due to lose. They're due to lose. They're due to lose. I'm sick of hearing it. Providence are past for me. But I'll give Creighton. I'll tell you what, I lost going. And Creighton was just like with Mississippi State. Creighton was a bet against for me coming into this tournament, and they took some money from me beating Marquette yesterday, and they looked very solid defensively, and it overcame the absence of Ryan Nembhard. Can they do it again today is the question. I don't want to go back and bet against a team I lost going against the day before, but I do lean Providence here.
Lean towards Providence. Next up, we have Michigan State, Wisconsin. The Big Ten quarters, and Michigan was so bad that I ended up not betting Michigan State yesterday, which would have given me a winning day overall. Instead, 2-2, lost a little bit of vig. 21-11, 11-9 in conference is Michigan State. First number 12 ranked Wisconsin Badgers, 24-6, 15-5 in conference. We're back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Michigan State opening up as 2.5-point dogs. They're now 4-point dogs. You can still get 3s and 3.5s, but 4s are here at Caesars. Then you have this total opening up at 138, and it's dropped all the way down to 136. Michigan State beat Maryland to finish off the regular season, 77-67, and then beat Maryland again yesterday, 76-72, to get this opportunity. And Wisconsin was rolling and lost to Nebraska at that last game of the regular season, a game that didn't mean much to Wisconsin, but it meant a lot to us gamblers, as we were on Nebraska and they covered easily, and we knew that Wisconsin was not going to be focused in that spot. We expected they wouldn't be very focused in that spot. These two teams faced each other on February 8th and January 21st. On January 21st at Wisconsin, Michigan State went in and rolled 86-74 in a big win. Then they played at home, and Wisconsin exacted revenge, defeating Michigan State 70-62. And that was right in a losing spell for Michigan State. They lost 7 of 9 games, and that was their second loss in that stretch. Take it away here. We watched what Boeheim was able to do when the games became important with a lackluster basketball team. And we sort of got a sense of that with Izzo in the game yesterday. Take it away here, Michigan State, Wisconsin.
So without Johnny, it's with or without Johnny Davis is critical if you're going to bet this game for Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin is clearly shown on multiple occasions. With Johnny Davis, they're a very good team. Without him, they're kind of lost. We've seen this multiple times. I think when you look at this game, though, it looks like he's going to play. So I still lean Michigan State, to be quite honest, because I don't really necessarily love, Wisconsin's, performance against Nebraska wasn't great. They did beat Purdue, which was a nice win. They were playing pretty well. How healthy is Davis going to be is the question. And look, Michigan State, last time they played Wisconsin, couldn't stop with Johnny Davis in particular. 70-62 loss to the Badgers, 25 points for Davis in that game. But will he be 100%? I lean Sparty, especially now that you get a better number, plus 3.5. But I'm going to stay off for now.
Okay, well, let's speed up a little bit here. Next up, we have a 7 p.m. Eastern Big 12 semis. TCU 20-11, 18-10 in conference. What a comeback yesterday against the number 6th ranked Kansas Jayhawks, 26-6, 14-4 in conference. We are at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. We have TCU opening up as 8-point dogs. You can get 7.5, 8, or 8.5, depending on where you shop. And this total opened up at 140, now down to 138.5. And sorry, let me pull this up here quickly. Apologies. Let's just set a little bit more of a table, even though I'm just told Babano we have to speed up. And here I am wasting valuable time. So the Horned Frogs, big win against Texas. They faced Kansas back-to-back to start this month 10 days ago. They beat Kansas at home 74-64, and then they went into Kansas and looked excellent in a 72-68 loss. And now they're sitting here as 8.5-point dogs after that giant comeback versus Texas. Can't wait to hear your breakdown. Take it away, TCU, Kansas.
Wow. I really want to take TCU again because this team's got a little something going, and they gave Kansas fits both games down the stretch in the season against of the regular season against Kansas. The one concern is all the energy expended yesterday against Texas. I mean, it was a horrible first half for TCU, and credit to Jamie Dixon's team for coming back the way they did. But again, kind of like a few of these games today, Indiana, Illinois, as one of many. Do you have enough gas in the tank for 40 minutes if you're TCU? Kansas rested. TCU had to come back in the second half, expended energy to beat Texas. I'd still lean TCU. This has been a point spread machine down the stretch. 6-1 ATS their last 7. Their only losses by 6 points or less. And again, they're getting more than that in this game. Let's make it official, TCU. Yeah, concerned maybe they hit a wall late in the game, but they've been a matchup problem for Kansas both times. And one time being a matchup issue, yeah, you can, and maybe the other team corrects it, but both times, and Kansas was life or death to beat them in the rematch. Yeah, TCU +9 for me.
Locke Bresner liking TCU, says TCU is the play. Okay, let's move on to the ACC semis. Miami 23-9, 14-6 in conference versus number 7 ranked Duke 27-5, 16-4 in conference. Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. I meant to bet Miami yesterday, and it was just a fortunate slip up where I didn't move on it, and then the game was on. I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, oh God, I was watching and I was deciding whether to live bet it, and I was like, oh geez, Boston College playing them tough. And, it saved me a losing day. I ended up just 2-2 in college basketball. But I thought that Miami was the play. Here they're 9-point dogs. That's moved to 8.5. This total opened up at 151.5. It's now 147.5. Miami's won 3 straight. They beat Boston College by 11 in Boston College, beat Syracuse by 3, and then barely got by Boston College to get this opportunity in the ACC semis. And then Duke did not look good against Syracuse until late in the second half, with the Syracuse team not without Buddy Boeheim in the lineup. Surprising that Duke looked so bad in the first half and then came on late to get a little bit of to win by a little bit of a distance. Take it away here, Babano. Miami, Duke.
Miami for me. You're going to give me 9 points with this Miami team and Jim Larinaga against a Duke team. Look, Duke's had issues the last few games. North Carolina was a bad loss in Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor, just the way they didn't play well at all in the second half. Coach K said it after the game against Syracuse yesterday, where they rallied back to win that game. They've got defensive problems right now. They're not sorting out their defensive matchups. There's too many uncontested shots that they're giving up to the opponent right now. I mean, it was wide open threes for Girard and for Jimmy Boeheim and for Swider in that game against Duke yesterday. They're just not locked in. They're not sharp. It makes me think they're looking ahead to the NCAA tournament a little bit. They had the big deal about Coach K's final home game. I thought they were going to come out revved up, and that was the worry I had. And I took Syracuse. I was a little worried about that. They didn't. Syracuse took it to them. I think they're kind of going through the motions right now, Duke. And if not for some big shots down the stretch from Trevor Keels and big play from him, they might have lost to Syracuse yesterday. Miami's playing for their tournament lives. I don't think they're fully in yet. I think they've still got work to do to cement their place in the tournament. I expect utmost performance and effort from Miami. McGusty, Charlie Moore, Isaiah Wong. I like this group offensively. They're not that Miami team where if they fall behind to Duke, they can't score. They're actually better offensively this year than defensively. So I think they're a live dog. If they win this game, it's not a total shock to me. If Duke plays the way they did yesterday, they may not beat Miami today. Yeah, I like the 9 points here.
Can somebody help me find a 9 right now? And also TCU, the best I get was an 8. So I'm going to need a little bit of help to get better numbers there. If anyone can do that while we're breaking down these games. We have a plus 8.5 right now at Pinnacle for Miami. Plus 8.5. I'm going to keep line shopping here and see what I can get. TCU plus 8 minus 107. And Miami plus 8.5 minus 108. If anybody can beat those lines, I would love that. Okay, we got to move fast here. We have the AAC quarters. Tulsa versus SMU. Tulsa opening up as 7.5-point dogs. They're now 10-point dogs. This total's gone from 139.5 to 138.5. Do you have a look here in Tulsa SMU, Babano?
Tulsa SMU, I don't have a play, so we can move on. I lean Tulsa. They showed you a little life beating Wichita State, but SMU's a lot better, and I'm not sure it's a good matchup for Tulsa.
Okay, we got a +9 and -110 for you. And TCU, we got a +8.5 and -108. Great job, everyone. Okay, so we are
Very
going to
good.
keep moving. We move over to the MAC semis and Kent State, whom I've fallen for in a big way. They opened up as favorites against Ohio. They're now dogs. They opened up at -1. They're now +1.5. This total opening up at 134.5 is now at 134. Take it away, Babano. Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse for the MAC semis, Ohio, Kent State.
You know what we're doing here, Kent State +2. I like Kent State. They've been a meal ticket for me. I laid the points with them against Miami O in their first conference tournament win yesterday. They're playing as good as any team in this conference. And look, Ohio was expected to be one of the best teams in this conference, and talent-wise, they still are. I like this team's talent with Carter and Vanderplas, the big guy. They're very Sears. That's a very good team that they've got. Miles Brown, very, very good. That's a great quartet Ohio has. But prior to yesterday, and they did play well against Ball State, but prior to yesterday, they were not playing well down the stretch. They lost to Kent State badly, 75-52 the last time they met, February 18th. And that's back when Kent State was playing this just red-hot basketball they're playing now. Yeah, this actually might be wrong team favored here in this game. I like Kent State.
And I can only get a +1.5 and -113 right now. If
That's
anybody
fine.
can help us beat that, that would be great. We got to go rapid fire. Babano, Big Sky semis, Weber State versus Montana State. So Montana State 25-7, 16-4 in conference. Weber State 13-7 in conference. And we have Montana opening up as 1.5-point favorites. That's flipped. Weber State tripping. Weber State now the favorites in this game. It's total opening up at 142.5, now 142. Take it away here. Big Sky semis. Do you agree with the switch, Montana State from favorites to dogs?
Wow. I like Danny Sprinkle and what he's done at Montana State to the point where I might sprinkle something on Montana State right now with this line move, which I don't fully agree with it. I like Montana State. Let's make it official. Let's do it. Montana State. I don't agree with this move. I like this team. I think Weber State, people see them. And look, they've had a great run in this conference. They're always one of the teams contending to win this conference. We know that year in and year out. I don't think this is one of the better Weber State teams, though. Same with Montana. The Grizzlies. I don't think it's one of their better teams either. I think both of these teams are down. Both of these teams are beatable this year. And I think Montana State will beat them. So we'll take the plus number now with Montana State, the Bobcats.
For Kent State, do you want them +1.5 at -113, or do you want them +1 at -103, or money line +107?
Yeah, let's do money line. What the hell? I think they win the game.
Okay, so let's
not bet them just to lose by 1. Let's bet them to win.
+107, and then Montana State. I'm sitting here at.
Let's do money line there too. Yeah,
money line there with Montana State. Okay, I will line shop for that. We move on to the SEC quarters. Vanderbilt 17-15, 7-11 in conference versus Kentucky 25-6, 14-4 in conference. And let's get a look here on Kentucky. Sorry, it's taking a second. Kentucky opening up as 11-point favorites. That's down to 10.5 or 10. And this total hanging around 142.5, 143. Any look here?
Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Man, I kind of want to take Vandy. Let's take Vandy. They've got some nice little momentum cooking right now. Scottie Pippen Jr., his father, Scottie, the great Scottie Pippen, was in attendance last night cheering his boy on, and he's playing great. This team is playing well so far in this tournament. I like what I've seen from Vandy. Again, for Kentucky, it's having to win by 11, against a team that's surging right now. Now, the rest situation is a concern. Vandy's had to play now. When you look at this tournament, this is going to be, I think, 3-3 for them. It is kind of like what we're seeing right now with A&M as well. But I think Vanderbilt can hang. I like this moxie that we're seeing from the Commodores right now. And they're playing crunch time defense as well. That's what won them the game against Alabama last night. So I like Vandy here. Too many points.
Okay, thank you. Billy Frieder can get a little bit less juice. The +10.5 at -108. We move over to the Southland semis. New Orleans 18-12, 10-4 in conference for Southeast Louisiana, 18-13, 10-4 in conference. We're back in Katy, Texas for more Southland action. And let me see if I can get a market here for the Southland. Come on. Here we go. New Orleans opening up at basically a pick'em, and now they're 3.5-point dogs at points bet. Just 2 at Caesars, 2.5 at other books. They're still opening up very high at 158.5 and has dropped to 156.5 or even 156 at Bet Rivers. Billy Friedrich says New Orleans money line here for me. Take it away, Southland semis.
Yeah, I'm going to do 2 bets. I'm going to take New Orleans as well. I think the New Orleans team is a little bit I trust them to win this game over SC Louisiana. I like them, and I like the over. It's a high number, but New Orleans has been a team I've been cashing some overs with. I took the over with them in McNeese State last night. Their game against Nicholls State went over. They've gone 5 of their last 6 games have gone over the total. I'd expect this one does too. I mean, you saw in the regular season, last meeting was 163, 84-79. Final score. So 2 plays, side and total. New Orleans plus the points over the total.
I've got 2.5 at -113 and the over 157.5.
That's
Me
cool.
know if anybody can beat that at this point. Please let me know. Next up, we have the MEAC semis. Coppin State versus North Carolina Central. Coppin State 8-22 on the year, but 6-8 in conference against North Carolina Central. The 16-14, 8-5 in conference, and Coppin State opening up as 1.5-point dogs, now 2.5-point dogs, and this total's gone from 138.5 up to 140.5. Take it away.
NC Central money line. I trust Lavelle Moten. This guy in this conference year after year, MEAC. It doesn't matter what his teams look like in the regular season. They perform at peak performance in the MEAC tournament, and they're doing so again. They took care of business against South Carolina State, Maryland Eastern Shore. They blew them out 68-56. Coppin State's playing well, but this is a team just to win a game. NC Central, Lavelle Moten. It seems like most years he gets his team into the championship game. And even after rough stretches this year, they're playing their best basketball at the right time. I like NC Central here, so we'll go money line with them here.
Billy's getting great lines for us at Bookmaker. The best one you can get right now is that -127 available there, and he found you an over 156.5 at -108.
Or for the New Orleans game. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great job. -108. Thank you, Billy. Then we go back to the Metro semis. Quinnipiac versus St. Peter's. Quinnipiac 14, 16, 7, and 13 in conference. These Peacocks playing good basketball. 17, 11, 14, and 6 in conference. And St. Peter's big favorites, so 7-point favorites. This total, though, has dropped 3 points from 136.5 to 133.5. Take it away.
Yeah, this is a fascinating one. Quinnipiac with a little bit of momentum too. I mean, after beating Siena, they played obviously yesterday, so rest advantage certainly for St. Peter's in this one. They had the day off. St. Peter's looks like they're rolling into high gear right now. 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against. That defense is nails right now. They are a terrific defensive team. A defense, like they can't shoot straight half the time. If they could even shoot reasonably well, the Peacocks, they're winning this conference tournament because they are by far, in my opinion, the best defense in the Metro Atlantic. No question about that. They are playing some serious defense right now. I lean under the total in this game for sure. Although I don't bet a ton of unders, I would lean that way. If this is one of the games I would bet under, but just to lean, I think St. Peter's wins. Do I want to lay 7? It depends on how well they shoot, but I think defensively they're going to give Quinnipiac some trouble. So lean under, lean to the Peacocks, but I don't like laying 7 with this team. But they're playing well, especially on D.
New Orleans at +2.5 -113 or +3.5 at -120.
I'll do 3.5 -120. Why not? I like getting the full possession of worth of points as an underdog.
A10 championship quarterfinal, Richmond VCU. Spiders 20-12, 10-8 in conference. VCU 21-8, 14-4 in conference. Richmond's gone from 3.5 up to 4.5-point dogs, and this total is just sitting around 130. It has creeped up at BetMGM to 131.5. Take it away, Richmond VCU.
Yeah, Richmond. I've trusted them twice against VCU this year, and they've let me down twice. So I'm not ready to. Although this game's everything for them. I mean, they still need a lot of work to do to even cement their playoff, not their playoff, their NCAA tournament hopes. But VCU's own them. VCU's rolling. Pass for me.
Pac-12 semis. Colorado 21-10, 12-8 in conference. Number 2 ranked. Arizona Wildcats 29-3, 18-2 in conference. We're at T-Mobile for this one. Colorado opening up as 10.5-point dogs. That's dropping to 10, now 9.5, and even a 9 at Caesars. This total is creeping up from 148 all the way up to there's a 149.5 now up at DraftKings Take it away.
Yeah, Arizona is maybe coming into this game with some purpose. I mean, they just barely escaped yesterday against Stanford. It wasn't their best game, and they lost to Colorado in Boulder the last time they played them, 79-63. So this game could get Arizona's attention, and if that's the case, they might roll in this. I don't necessarily trust Colorado. Colorado had a nice game yesterday against Oregon, 80-69. And look, their offense is all of a sudden, 79, 84, 80. I mean, they are shooting the lights out. I guess I'd look over, if anything. In fact, I might make that. Let's make that official, the over. I lean Arizona, too, a little bit because they lost to Colorado last time. I think they come out with purpose, and I think they are the better team. But I don't want to sell Colorado short. Beating Oregon by 11 is pretty impressive. So I'm just going to stick to the total here, over.
We have a 149.5 at minus 101 and a 149 at minus 108. So over 149, 148.5 minus 114.
That's great.
Which one do you prefer?
We'll do the 148.5. As long as it's below minus 120, I'll take the extra half point.
Over 148.5 and minus 114. Please let me know if we can beat that anywhere. We got to be very quick here. We got NBA and Drill Ready Rock Big East Tournament semis. Number 20 ranked UConn, 23-8, 13-6 in the Big East, up against Villanova, 24-7, 16-4 in the Big East. This is going to be an incredible game at MSG tonight. UConn opening up as 2-point dogs. They're now 2.5-point dogs. This total is sitting at 131.5.
Yeah, I like UConn. Give me the points here. UConn looks like they're locked in. I was impressed. That was thoroughly dominant against Seton Hall. Seton Hall never sniffed getting into that game last night against UConn. The defense was there. Finally, to the level I thought I expected all year out of Danny Hurley's team. They're playing defense. Villanova had to scrap past St. John's tooth and nail, expend a lot of energy to erase a double-digit deficit. They could be now they got to face this tough as nails UConn D, which is peaking right now. I think UConn's got a real chance to win this game, so give me the +2 with them.
+2 with UConn. I'm in a line shop for that. Let's move over to the Big Ten tournament. Penn State, 14-16, 7-13 in conference, going up against number 9 ranked Purdue Boilermakers, 25-6, 14-6 in conference. This is the quarters in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and Penn State opening up as 9-point dogs. It is now 11 at most books. You can't find 10.5. Total 134.5 is down to 133.5 at some books. Take it away here. A Big Ten quarters.
Yeah, Penn State, again, it's interesting what we're seeing out of them. They're all of a sudden finding some life here, playing good basketball. What a brutal collapse by Ohio State, or great comeback by Penn State. Depends on which way you want to look at it. But now they got to play Purdue. This is dog or pass for me. Right now it's a pass, but Penn State's only path is obviously shocking everybody and winning this conference tournament. So again, it's a max effort thing. Maybe this is a first half full game split if you like Penn State. I don't know if they're going to match up well with Purdue, though. Rested Purdue. And when Purdue's rested, that's usually when they can really, really get going offensively. And that could be some trouble for Penn State. Now, because you look at the meeting, though, Penn State did hang in there, though, 74-67. Lean dog, but for now it's no play.
Then we have, and we did, thanks guys for the +2.5 and minus 108 for UConn, for Bobano. Then we have Big West Championship semis, UC Santa Barbara, 17-10, 8-5 in conference versus Long Beach State, 19-11, 12-3 in conference. And I'll just move this over here. And we have Long Beach State opening up as 2.5-point dogs. That's moved to 4.5. Moved to 4.5. And this total's gone from 140.5 all the way down to 138.5. Take it away.
Yeah, I think when I look at this one, it's Long Beach State for me. They've been a good point spread team down the stretch. Now, they got beaten by Santa Barbara last time, but that was then. This is now. Long Beach State, to me, I think there's still some people being disrespectful to them, that their stats don't jump off the page at you. But when your only loss was, Irvine by 5. Now, they did, again, they lost by 13 to Santa Barbara, and Santa Barbara's playing great. I get it. They're rolling. They could win this Big West tournament. There's no doubt. But I think right now, the +4 is worth taking on Long Beach.
Okay, I will do that with you. Let's keep rolling, though. Next up, and we got to be very quick, Grand Canyon, New Mexico State. This is the WAC semis. And we have Grand Canyon opening up as 2.5-point dogs. That's where they stand right now. And this total's dropped from 131.5 to 130.
Oh, it's a great matchup here. These are two teams that we thought coming into the season would be contending for the conference championship here in the WAC. And sure enough, that's exactly what we're seeing. Grand Canyon's won and covered 5 straight. I think they get New Mexico State here. I like Grand Canyon. I'll take the plus points.
Okay, so I can get Long Beach plus 3.5. Long Beach
+4 -105 bet online, says Billy. There you go.
plus 4 -105. Perfect. And then there is a move on Grand Canyon plus 2.5. I will line shop there plus 2.5. Let's keep moving here. Next up, we have the AAC quarters, UCF Memphis. UCF Memphis, show me. UCF opening up as 7-point dogs, now 9.5-point dogs. Big move towards Memphis, and this total going from 144.5 down to 142.5.
Yeah, I'm not interested going against Memphis right now. Simple as that. I think they're going to end up probably doing a pretty good job here. Fine. I lean to the team total over 76 with Memphis, but just a lean, I'm not going to bet it.
Next up, the Big 12 championship semifinal, Oklahoma, and we get to the taint play of the day. Oklahoma for our guy Matty Ice, opening up at +7. Now it's 7.5 at a few books. That's where he got it. BetMGM plus 7.5. This total's dropped a point at a couple books from 125.5 to 124.5.
Man, I give Matty Ice credit. It's not easy to fade Texas Tech. I mean, they're so good. I mean, they've been so good all year. We saw what they did, obviously, yesterday. Iowa State dismantled them 72-41. But don't sell Oklahoma short. And I kind of I'm with him here. I kind of lean to the points with Oklahoma. It's not easy, again, go against the Red Raiders right now. But don't underestimate coaches that get it done in tournament settings. Who's good in tournament settings? Oh, yeah, a guy named Porter Moser. That's who did it with Loyola Chicago for years. Look at Oklahoma now. This Oklahoma team was just so bloody inconsistent all season, and here they are now in the Big 12 tournament. They played well down the stretch in the regular season. They had a terrific showing, beating a very good Baylor team. I know Baylor's had some injuries, I get it, but to beat Baylor yesterday, be very impressive. Both ends of the floor, 72-67. You got to give them a whole lot of credit for that. Oklahoma, they look like they might be peaking at the right time, and I think they got it in them to give Texas Tech a game. So I will go ahead with this one as an official Oklahoma.
Okay, we have Babano backing Taint. We need to be done because we have Darryl waiting very patiently in backstage. So we need to be done here within 5 minutes. So let's go very
let's go quick.
Here.
Rapid fire.
Next up, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, ACC semis. Virginia Tech, 2.5-point dogs. No movement there, but this total's dropped 3 points from 142.5 down to 139.5.
Virginia Tech plus the points for me. I took them last night against Notre Dame. And look, North Carolina 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. I get it. They're on a roll. Terrific roll. Virginia Tech, I think, though, they're playing for their tournament lives. I think they still need to win to be in the tournament. And Mike Young's another coach I trust in tournament settings. He's very good in this spot. North Carolina, let's be honest, they beat North Carolina, Virginia team that's horrible offensively. The offense Virginia runs compared to Virginia Tech, it's non-comparable. Virginia Tech, fluid ball movement, great offensive-minded coach in Mike Young. This is a much more difficult defensive matchup for UNC. I like Virginia Tech.
Next up, we move over to the SWAC semis. Alabama A&M 12-17, 10-8 in conference versus Alcorn State 16-15, 14-4 in conference. Alabama A&M opening up as 5-point dogs. There is a 5.5 now at PointsBet and FanDuel, and this total opening up at the very low number 124.5 is up to 126 or 125.5.
Alabama and A&M plus the points for me. They're on a point spread tear right now. What is it? 6 in a row they've covered. And Alcorn State had to go to overtime just to survive the 8 seed. Prairie View 64-63 yesterday. That probably took a little out of them. This could be a vulnerable favorite here, Alcorn State. Maybe they wake up to the number 1 seed. They got a scare yesterday. They played better, but A&M's a point spread tear right now. I'll take my chances. +5 with A&M.
Wyoming, Boise State, Mountain West semis. Wyoming 25-7, 13-5 in conference. Boise State 25-7, 15-3 in conference. Wyoming sitting as 2.5-point dogs. This total has dropped a point from 128.5 to 127.5.
I like Wyoming +2.5. I like them. I think EK and Maldonado, they've kind of had some struggles down the stretch. I like the way they played against UNLV yesterday. Boise had to escape Nevada. Hang on for dear life. They did not close that game well, Boise. Mistakes, missed free throws, not sharp, not crisp. That could matter in a point spread range close to a pick 'em here. I like Wyoming.
Wyoming. I will, and I'm going to be line shopping for you as I go through, but we don't have time to do it right now. Next up, Portland State, Northern Colorado, Big Sky semis. Portland State 14, 16, 10, 10 in conference. Northern Colorado 19 and 14, 13 and 7 in conference. Portland State 4.5-point dogs. This total's dropped from 153 down to 150.
This is probably another dogger pass because Portland State's just one of those teams. They found some mojo here in the Big Sky tournament, and back-to-back wins impressively, outright as dogs against Southern Utah yesterday, 77-65. Northern Colorado escapes past Eastern Washington. This one I've not made official, but I do lean Vikings. The Portland State team is an underdog.
Pac-12 semis, number 21 ranked USC versus number 13th ranked UCLA. USC 26-6, 14-6 in conference. UCLA 24-6, 15-5 in conference. We have USC opening up as 6-point dogs. They're now 5.5-point dogs. This total's gone from 136 to 134.5.
Yeah, this should be a good game. I'm looking forward to watching it. I have not much of an opinion. UCLA looks damn good. All right, UCLA is not really someone I'm looking to bet against right now, but it's a rivalry. USC, I think is definitely going to have a pretty big effort here as well. Great game. I'm passing.
We have Hawaii, CSU Fullerton, Big West semis. Hawaii 17-10, 10-5 in conference. CSU Fullerton 19-10, 11-4 in conference. Hawaii opening up as 1-point dogs, now 2.5, and this total opening up at 133.5 is where you can find it now.
Fullerton, I would lean with here in this game. Am I going to make it official? Let me see what that number is. Fullerton. You know what? I think I will with the Fullerton side here in this game. We'll go money line, though. Let's go Fullerton money line. Minus 135, I believe, is the best price out there. I think Fullerton wins. I think they're better than Hawaii.
Okay, and we are almost done this. Unbelievable. You've done such a great job.
You did it somehow.
2 more games. Abilene Christian, Seattle U. This is the WAC tournament semis. Abilene Christian, whom we know well, opening up as 2-point favorites, is now 2.5-point favorites, and this total is sticking at 138.5.
This should be a good game, too. I mean, Abilene and Seattle. I'm rolling with the red-hot Abilene Christian team. They took my money. I took Stephen F. Austin against them yesterday. They played magnificent. And this looks like the Abilene Christian that was just mowing teams down early in the season. They went through a little swoon there. They picked it up now, and they're playing well again. I think they can win. I like Abilene here.
Your final game on the college basketball card, midnight Eastern. San Diego State, 22-7, 13-4 in conference. Colorado State, 25-4, 14-4 in conference. And this one, San Diego State opening up as a 1-point dog. They're now 1.5-point favorites, and this total sitting at 124.5. Take it away.
Yeah, it should be a great game. Colorado's. I like both of these teams. Colorado State beating Utah State. San Diego State got past Fresno. San Diego State, though, I'll tell you what, this year against Colorado State, they won the first game decisively. Colorado State got them, though, in the rematch, so a 1-1 split. Great game. Lean slightly Colorado State, but I'm going to be just enjoying this game with 2 good teams.
All right, there you go. All 44 games broken down in NCAA. Taint play of the days, Oklahoma plus 7.5. The Ron Crawford NCAA parlay is SMU and North Carolina. That's how they are attacking this. In NHL, we're all on the Penguins. Babano and Ron Crawford on Penguins in regulation. I'm on the -1 line. Babano and I are both in the over Minnesota Columbus. We both got it at 6. Babano made it official here on the show on the line that was available right now at 6.5 and -119, but he bet it at 6, as did I at -105, and I tweeted that out. Winnipeg, New York Islanders over 6 at +100. That market's moved against me. I'm the only one on that. Babano's on the over 6 at -125 in Washington, Vancouver. In college basketball, Babano's on his way to glory with Texas A&M +10. Next up for him is a UAB North Texas parlay at +112, Tulane -115, Grambling +6.5, Toledo team total over 72 at -110. There is a 71.5 available at -116.
I will keep the 72.
Okay. I am going to move on Toledo. I think first half full game. He's on the over 144 at -124 in Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Nicholls State. While I'm reading off all of Babano's action, please give him love in the chat for getting through all 44 games here with us. TCU
hit the like button. Come on.
Miami
do it after that.
+9, Kent State money line at +107, Montana State +1.5, Vanderbilt +10.5, New Orleans +3.5, NC Central money line at -127, the over 148 at -114 in Colorado, Arizona, UConn +2.5, Long Beach State +4 -105, Grand Canyon +2.5, Oklahoma +7.5. I'm going to line shop for him for Virginia Tech, Alabama A&M, and Wyoming. CSU Fullerton money line -135, and Abilene Christian -2.5, -110. Babano, it's fun tracking your action. You're doing incredibly well in NHL on this show right now, and this huge card could get you right back into the black in NCAA on this show. Great work, Babano. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Follow Babano on Twitter at Babano, and then come hang out with Babano in San Antonio. Babano, any last words?
Just thanks, everybody. Good luck. Enjoy the crazy weekend of basketball. Stick around. Darryl's going to kill it with the NBA card coming up, and we got the Pub Hub 4 p.m. Eastern later today.
There he is, Babano in the house. Your next guest is not only what a gracious human being with his hard work sharing with us. I also made him sit there for 18 minutes. And of course, he does that with such kindness, and we love him dearly. And we don't have a ton of time for this huge basketball card. We have 57 minutes maximum. We got to get him out before 57 minutes. Please welcome your next guest, the pride and joy of Los Angeles, California, will also be hanging with us in San Antonio. Please welcome my guy and yours is Darryl in the house.
Yo, man. Good to see you. Good to be here again. Happy Friday to you, Jay. Happy Friday to all my people in the chat. It is good to be back. It is good to be on this side of the grass. Let's get right into it, bro. We got a lot of games.
Let's get right into it. And your spectacular NBA capping, you weren't rewarded on Wednesday, but
yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I went 6-2 with your breakdowns, and I didn't make any bets in NCAA basketball. And I pushed both my bets on the Wednesday in hockey, Oilers first period. So all NBA brought in all my glory that night, and I thank you very much. And it's no coincidence that I'm having these big winning nights on days that you break down the card, and many drinks I will be purchasing for you when we are in San Antonio. Not one or two, many beverages for you, Darryl. Many beverages. Our man Darryl is 57-40, hitting at 58.8% plus 14.3 units, an ROI of 14.74%, an average line of -106. He's 3 bets away from 100, and with 100 bets in, we've never had anybody with an ROI this high before. I haven't. Of any of my guests in the years that we've been working, publicly. So let's keep rolling and get right to work. Darryl rolling with us right now. Let's move on here. Sorry, I've got just pages and.
Yeah, shout out to Juan. Shout out to CT Bays. I see y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to try to get it back today. It was a losing day, Jay. Losing day on Wednesday for me. Said I got to shake that rust off, man. Could have been even with the Denver game, but I lost that by a hook. And I don't know what the hell Dallas was doing. Just a crazy day they had. But yeah, I am eager to get. I've made a couple plays already. I didn't realize I would make as many as I did. But shoot, man. So let's get it.
Let's do exactly that. And, a losing day, sure, but it was a 3-4 day. It wasn't, an atrocity by any stretch of the imagination. Your Celtics first half team total over. If you had gone full game, then you have a winning day.
There you go.
That's all that you needed.
There you go.
The Pistons first quarter plus 1.5 was beautiful.
Great pick.
Got destroyed. But you said that the Minnesota Timberwolves were a possible trifecta for you. You only took them first half. They completely dominate that game. They win by 30. So that would have been cash. The Mavs hurt you, but the Nuggets took care of the first half for you. And the reason why I just kind of want to go over it here is because you brought a ton of glory to me on that day. I cashed with the Clippers.
Yeah, you did. You did.
The Clip show with a ton of confidence. But wait, where are we here? Clippers. I had Nuggets first half in full game, and I didn't get the 6. You pushed on the 6. I got 6.5, so I ended up losing that, which I couldn't believe.
Wait. Okay, so I put 6.5 on there. You're right. So okay, I got you. You're right. That might have okay.
That was a push for you. So it wasn't that you didn't have that bad.
So it was a 3-4.
That was a loss for me. But Portland, Utah, that first half under that we talked about, I mean, that was just a slam dunk, and that was our capping together. The Raptors -2 with Van Fleet in the lineup was a slam dunk. I cashed the Magic on back-to-back days, +6.5 and then +8 with you, so we'll see if we go back to that well. And then I got fortunate, Atlanta, Milwaukee, under 239.5. I got that by a half point.
Wild game. That was wild.
Was losing shit. Whenever I cash something like that, like by a half point and a total like that, I just start losing my shit. That's when I really love life. Okay, let's get to work, Darryl. We start 7 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Timberwolves 38-29, 16-17 on the road at the Orlando Magic, 17-57.
Appreciate you, Dan.
At home. We're at Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. Minnesota over the past 5-0, first in pace at 105.20 possessions a game, while Orlando also playing at a very fast pace. They're 2-3. They're fifth in pace at 102.17 possessions a game. Let me just move over to all markets here. So the Timberwolves open up at -7. Now we have a 7.5. There's 8 at PointsBet and FanDuel. And this total at 232.5 is now at 233. And it doesn't seem too high. And Nut Flush Allen said, but at least Jimmy didn't pick the Lakers with that gun to the head. Remember that gun to the head? Yeah, thank God.
Yeah,
that was
you
a
did.
wild thing.
I asked you.
Oh, man.
But Jay, what did I say? And it just seems like it's going to work out. The games that the Lakers should win, they're going to lose. And the games that the Lakers are going to win, they should be losing. So it just seems that narrative is the way to go.
It does. It certainly does. All right, let's bring up sports interaction for these spots. 7,931 tickets in, and it's all Timberwolves money, and the line's barely moving. 92% of the tickets, 90% of the cash on the Timberwolves. And then 62% of the tickets on the under, and it's 50-50. And even that surprises me. I guess the idea would be that D'Angelo Russell and Edwards are back, and maybe that will hurt. Why would it? These teams are playing at such a fast pace. Timberwolves coming off their 6th straight win, 132-102 at home over the Thunder on Wednesday. Malik Beasley, 17 shots from 3. The only shots he took, and he cashed 11 of them. So he set an NBA record for most points scored by 3-point shots only, and single game records for total 3-pointers, breaking Anthony Edwards' look. So, and he's 52.5%, 31-59 on the month. Now they've won 6 straight, but 4 of them are against the Blazers and the Thunder. They've won by an average of 24 points in those last 6 games, and Magic playing good ball. So Magic snapped their 2-game losing streak with 108-102 win at the Pelicans. Orlando's bench went for 50. Gary Harris goes for 16 in 27 minutes. RJ Hampton, Okiki, everyone, all 5 starters scored in double figures. I mean, this team is playing good basketball. Jeffrey Schutzke says the over. I'm surprised it's at this number, and the tickets are on the under at this point. I'll let you shine some light on this spot. Give us some clarity. Timberwolves Magic.
The way we think the game should play out is very different than how it's being bet right now, if you look at it, right? It's very, very different. You would think this game would go over. Just knowing how many points Minnesota is putting up each game, even though it is against shitty teams. Orlando's a shitty team, Jay, right? So we're thinking that, the number should be climbing, not dropping, right? And we should see some kind of movement, if not more, on Minnesota. I'm going to tell you right now, I took Minnesota full game at -7.5 because I think this is just a game that's going to get away from Orlando, especially if it's the fast game. Secondly, I did take them first half as well. We know Minnesota sits third in the league at points scored in the half. Just for your numbers, Orlando is dead last in first half scoring. Dead last. Even over their most recent body of work, in their last 3, they're only averaging 48. And that's after putting up 56 points in their last game. Minnesota quietly 4th in the league with the season average of 58 and with the last 3 average of 66, putting up 74 in their last game. So if Orlando wants to play this game fast, they are going to be in for an outright just ass whooping at this point. So I do like Minnesota full game at -7.5. That's where I got them, even though that number may be kind of scary if Orlando's going to continue to put up points. And I do like Minnesota, more importantly, first half, as that's where they do their most, deadly attacks there in the first half. So I did take the -4 first half, Minnesota, -7.5 full game.
Well, we can get you that -4 first half, -112. Let's move over to.
Yeah, that's.
You know,
I would feel
somebody
more
else-
confident about a first half play, considering right now Minnesota is still in their first half ATS 6-4, while Orlando is still, they're still what we're looking at
Okay.
4-6, under 500,
So
under 500.
Minnesota first half -4 at
Mhm,
-112.
mhm.
And then full game, I can only get you a 7.5 right now at -112.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's fine. I look at anything 115 and under because that's kind of usually aligned with the books, even though those aren't the best, numbers, if you will. But yeah, I like it. I'll take them both.
All right, you are locked in. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's keep rolling. I do also want to give a shout out after capping 44 NCAA basketball games for Jose Bouquet. What a great job having the graphics down for each game. We didn't even add the last games until late because we weren't sure if we were going to even be able to do them. And he's 4 beers deep already.
Really? I came this close to drinking some wine.
3 beers and a soda, Jim. Get it right.
Jesus. Get it right, Jay. Get it fucking right.
Man, it's if he had said that to me in public, I would open hand slapped him in the face. That
Open
would
hand
be my
farm.
move right there. Just a quick open hand slap in the face.
Farm hand.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one on the board. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. LA Clippers 35-33, 15-19 in conference at Atlanta Hawks, 31-34, 19-13 in conference. State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The sorry, right there. Clippers 3-2, 18th in pace at 98.7 possessions game. Atlanta 2-3, 28th in pace at 95.31 possessions game. There's Rayhan, great NBA capper in the house.
Yeah.
By the way, we're live betcasting 2 games at a time when we are in San Antonio, and I can't wait to do that. So it looks like it'll just be on Monday and Tuesday nights. But we're going to be live betting in the studio NBA, and we're going to have a bet cast, and then I'm very, very, very excited. And also if you want to be in if you want tickets to these games and you want to be in the poker game, do sign up on our Google Sheets. Okay, back to this spot here.
Real quick, Leonard makes a great point. I probably won't get there. It may be a late spot, but taking the team total over 61 is really good for Minnesota. The thing is, this is when I get a little afraid, is I try to do that with Boston, and I lost that play. So, but yeah, right now, I mean, that is a good edge. I mean, if you had a little bit of lunch money, I'd put it on there too. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that, Jimmy.
Oh, no, it's all good. All good. And Dan Kelly's action is in. I did copy and paste that somewhere here, but and yes, the open hand slap. Sorry, that was a very stressful segment with Babano just rushing and rushing. I feel like I can take a breath, but yeah, I used to instigate slap fest.
Yeah,
and I was and one thing we do is we'd all take a shot and then slap the person beside them. That was one of the things that we'd always do. But I would often instigate slap fest. And if you ever feel 2 fingers like this on your back, don't turn around. If you feel 2 fingers like that, I'm going to slap you in the face. So just keep that in mind. If you ever feel this, don't turn around. Okay, let's move on to this spot here. And we have Dan's first action. He's on first half, Hawks -3 at -113. That's where Dan gets started here. So we'll move off of this and pull up this, and the market moves. Apologies. Okay, here we go. In this spot, we have the Clippers opening up as 5.5-point dogs. They moved to 6.5, then to 7, and now 7.5-point dogs. This total opening up at 228.5 is now 226.5. 5,661 tickets in. 52% of the tickets on the Hawks and 92% of the cash. big bets have come in on the
Mhm.
Atlanta Hawks.
Mhm.
56% of the tickets on the over and just 48% of cash on the over. Clippers snapped their 2-game losing streak in a 115-109 home win over the Wizards on Wednesday night. Jackson had 31.7 assists in 39 minutes for the Clippers. Marcus Morris, 27. Luke Kennard, 19. And it was a great casher. It was such a great casher because I just was quite certain that they would bounce back after that debacle in San Francisco. And
Yeah.
I can understand why the Hawks are taking money. Rayhan here on the Hawks. I get it. No Powell, no Covington. Hawks coming off their second straight loss, 124-115 of the Bucks on Wednesday. Trae Young, 27-11. They just can't defend. Defend. And then John Collins goes 0 for 9 from the field. Take it away here, Clippers, Hawks.
I don't give a shit about this game. I don't. I really don't. This seems like a Hawks blowout, if you ask me, because you can't just depend on the Clippers to throw Reggie Jackson out there and he be your leading scorer and you win games, right? Without Rocco there and even Norman Powell, I mean, these guys really, really, really matter. Now, Norman hasn't played since he's been traded there, right? We saw how injured that shoulder really was, and he went out and made it worse when he was in Portland. Rocco not being in there makes a difference, a huge difference, right? A huge difference. So with me personally, I don't think that there's any way that the Clippers can get this shit done today. I think Atlanta can get it done. However, there is no D being played, and that kind of game plays into the Clippers' hands to where they can just stick around. I don't have a play on this game, but if I did, it would be Atlanta. It just seems like Atlanta should get this game. They played a really tough game against Milwaukee at home, mind you. Milwaukee was at home. Atlanta being at home now, I think you're going to get a better game out of Collins, but I have no play on this game.
Interesting. I think Hawks early. I'm looking at first half Hawks with Dan. I think that makes sense, and I can understand even the double up here. I think the Hawks bounced. They were very angry at the end of that game against the Bucks. So Hawks first half and possibly a full game move for me, but Hawks first half for sure. And man, Neil Olshey is fired now. But can you believe that Masai Ujiri fleeced him in the Gary Trent Jr. trade? What kind of idiot would take and I love Norm Powell, but at that point too, when we picked up, now I knew it was Gary Trent was going to get the raise, obviously, but then at that point he was getting paid $2.3 million a year, and then we gave him the big raise. But what a clown Olshey is, and now you're fired because of it. When Masai calls, it's almost like Billy Bean, 10 years ago calling in baseball. Like when Masai calls, you're like, oh no, he's going to fleece. Oh no.
There's got to be some backroom deals being done that we don't know about, bro, because he is the master of fleecing, master of it.
Yeah, he's just we love him. We absolutely love him. He's like the most loved Canadian right now. And
is he even Canadian?
He's now Canadian.
He's now. I was about to say.
Yeah. No, he is Canadian now. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you that straight up. 7:30 p.m. Eastern next up. Detroit Pistons 18-48, 7-26 on the road. Boston Celtics 40-27, 23-11 at home. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Detroit 3-2 over their past 5, 29th in pace, 95.1 2 possessions a game. Boston 4-1, 27th in pace at 96.20 possessions a game. Pistons open up as 13.5 dogs, become 14.5 dogs. That's a big spread. Now we all remember that last game before the All-Star break. Pistons shocked Boston after Boston destroyed Brooklyn, but Boston's already had that revenge. So this is a huge spread, and really, should it be this big? Let's just see where the cash is here quickly, because it feels like 8,347 tickets in, 28% of the tickets, 36% of the cash on the Celtics. So the public, seeing how big a spread this is, betting it, and it looks like the books are laughing, smiling, laughing. 23% of the tickets on the under, 53% of cash on the under. And look how slow these two teams are playing. Now, I know that Boston's playing very efficient, but I get that. I get why this is moving to the under. Pistons had their 3-game winning streak snapped, a 114-108 loss at home to the Bulls on Wednesday. Cade Cunningham, 22.6 assists, 5th straight game with 20 or more. No other NBA rookies put together more than 3 in a row. Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart missed last game, and I don't have word if they are going to be available here. Celtics coming off their fourth straight win, 115-101 at Charlotte on Wednesday night. Look, Tatum 54 and then 44. They've won 15 of 17. All 5 starters scoring double figures. This team is rolling. Joe Yurkovich says 4 guards out for Detroit. Sammy, NBA Gem Play of the Day, is on Jeremy Grant, over 18.5 points. Also buying 3-pointers up to 3 at plus 220. Take it away here, Pistons, Celtics.
Sam was spot on when he says Pistons are ATS machines right now, right? Even first half, Pistons are like 9-0-1 ATS. They are playing. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Yeah.
Give me Boston. I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we have an addition now for the clip because you said motherfucker.
That's why I added that mother on there. This one here, I'm very, very confident. And this is the reason why. It is the defense that Boston is playing right now. It is the defense that Boston is playing. What I saw them play against Charlotte was absolutely insane. And it didn't even happen until the second half. It didn't happen until the second half against Charlotte. And Jason Tatum is on a tear. He's on a tear. Maddie, you've been waiting for it. There it is. I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is here. I do believe Pistons don't even score 100 today. I do believe that. So I am not afraid of this spread here. It could go up to 16, 17 for all I care. I swear to God, man, Boston is going to handle Detroit. Now, why would this number be so high? And then why would it go up higher if Detroit has been covering the spreads first half and full game? Right? So that should tell you something. That should tell you something. The lines are going to always tell you a story. There are some teams that you have to be afraid. And I know I talk about this all the time, to where you should be afraid of the number, right? This number, do not be afraid of. Do not be afraid of. Because if Boston starts off flat, even in the first half, they will figure it out at halftime, and they will come and smack you second half. And I do believe that's going to happen. I don't believe Detroit is going to even put up 100 points today. I don't. Now, these guys do play each other very, very often, but this is one of these games where the last spread, I believe, was 13. Boston won that game by 10. This is not the same team. This is not the same team that in Boston that we've seen even as of 4 games ago. Their defense is just getting better. It's just getting better. So yeah, I do like it. Yeah, and Dan is right. Boston didn't cover that last spread. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't. I think this is going to be a 20-point game here. I do believe so. And so that is my look on this game. Give me Boston. I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. And I've already played it.
Do you want me to turn the spread into a plus line? You get minus 15 at plus 105.
That's an alt line, right?
Yeah. You can get 14.5 at minus 103.
Let me see where I played it, because I think I got it at 14.
Let me know.
Yeah, see, I got it at 14. So I don't want to steer the chat wrong. You know what? Let's do 15. Let's do it. This is really sticking my neck out there, but let's do it for plus money.
Minus 15 at plus 105. All right, let's keep rolling.
A lot of people are going to look at this like this is crazy, but I'm telling you what I see. I'm telling you what I see.
When you say,
and if you just look at the past teams who Detroit is, they have not played anybody like Boston. Chicago, Atlanta, Indy, Toronto was probably their hardest game. Washington, Charlotte. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. This is going to be a different game.
Look, when you say I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is, nobody's laughing. Only people have seen it for the first time. You know.
Only people who've seen it for the first time. I hear you. What's up, James? I see you, brother.
Let's roll on. 8 p.m. Eastern, Cleveland Cavaliers 32-27, 18-16 on the road at the Miami Heat, 44-23, 23-8 at home, FTX Arena, Miami, Florida. Dennis Garcia often talks about this Heat team and how they bounce back with such aplomb. And I wonder if that will be in play here. I wonder if he's watching right now thinking the Heat bounce back. So let's go over to this Cavs Heat spot. We have the Cavs opening up at 6-point dogs. Let's move to 7.5. This total opened up at 210. It's now at 210.5 or 211. In the cash side of things, we have 6,191 tickets in. 27% of the tickets and 26% of the cash is on the Cavs. And here they have the Cleveland Cavaliers being steamed here, they say, on Sports Insights. So, and they also say that there's overall value on the spread. They have overall value on the spread of the Timberwolves as well. So they, and then one other game that we'll get to in a little bit, but they have overall value in the Cavaliers. 75% tickets on the over, 74% cash on the over, and it's dropped a half point. Cavs come in pace wise, 20th by Cleveland, 22nd by Miami, last 5 games. And look at that. Dan Kelly says I will be taking a lot of overs and Miami in this game. Let's go back to Dan's action again. Second quarter, Miami -1 at -124. Miami team total over 108.5. Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Okay, I'm going to put a little note there. And then Cavs coming off their second straight win, 127-124 at the Pacers on Tuesday. Garland goes for 41-13. Jarrett Allen continues to be out with that fractured left middle finger. And LeVert has missed 7 straight games due to the right foot injury. He come off their 3-game winning streak being snapped in ugly fashion, 111-90 at home to Phoenix. Miami was out-rebounded 55-38. They were out-rebounded 14-6 on the offensive glass. Butler missed Wednesday's game due to the sinus congestion, and Caleb Martin is a hyperextended left knee, doubtful. Take it away here, Darryl, Cavs, Heat.
Yeah, so if you know, right? So this is the best time to take Cleveland first quarter. I already jumped on them. Cleveland first quarter +2. Even the games Cleveland are losing as of late, that being Philly, that being Minnesota, they are smacking people in the first quarter. That's how it's always been, right? So if they're going to win the game outright, then first quarter. That is it. Mike M is right on the money there. Cavs first quarter is a gift today. 4 straight on the road, and Heat starting cold as ice as of late. Look at what they're averaging first quarter. Points per game in the first quarter for the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. They are quietly sitting in 11th, right, which is top margin of the league. Averaging 28.4 for the season, 35 in the last 3, and their last game having 32. While Miami sitting 17th, right, with the season average of 27.9. The last 3 has actually gone down 24.7, and their last game that actually was up at 27. So I'm telling you right now, what the play is, especially this is the way you look at it. Cavs being A, the dogs, and Cavs being B, away. They will cover the first quarter spread. They always do. Even the games they lose, they're not going to lose the first quarter. I've already jumped on it. Give me Cleveland +2 first quarter. That is a money maker.
Well, I can give you +2.5 at -1.
Let's shoot at it. Yeah, let's do it.
So at this point, we're trusting the numbers and the Heat starting off slow and not worrying about the psychological angle of them being.
There's so many moving parts right now with Miami, right? You don't know if Jimmy's going to play. That number moving kind of tells you he possibly is going to play with that infection or whatever he has. You still got to get Oladipo activated with his 15 minutes, but that's not right away, right? You still have Bam and Dedmon, who are your good bigs, right? And you still have shooters who's going to shoot in Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero whenever they get in their own rotations. But at the same token, you have a very systematic approach by Cleveland and JB Bickerstaff. And this is why he wins first quarter all the time. I mean, they're still like second, first in the league in first quarter ATS, is because they have a very systems approach game that they play in the first quarter. And then it starts to go to shit. Now, what we have to ask ourselves is this team really this bad without Jarrett Allen? Right? Like maybe there is some kind of issue that they can't get their other bigs with Markkanen and Love going off, and even Mobley, right? But this team does do good in the first quarter enough they've done it without Allen, and they've done it without Darius Garland, right? So this is one of these things to where I believe as slow as Miami starts and as systematic as Cleveland plays, that they should be able to cover that first quarter. They should be able to cover that first quarter without a problem. So I do like it. Cleveland first quarter. That is, you know what? Put it right here. You ready for this? Give me Cleveland first quarter. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. That's two, man. That's two. That's the way I feel today, bro.
Wow.
Shoot is shoot, man.
Let's get it. Two.
Yeah.
I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Very, very exciting. Let's keep rolling. Dallas Mavericks 40-26, 17-14 on the road. Houston Rockets 17-49, 10-21 at home. We're at Toledo Center in Houston, Texas. Mavericks open up at -11. There's 10.5s on the board. There's a 10 now on the board. There's total opening up at 225 now at 225.5. Dallas 4-1 over their past 5, 30th and last in pace at 93.90 possessions a game. Houston 2-3, 9th in pace at 100.80 possessions a game. I want to take a look at that total one more time. 225.5. Seems mighty low for a Mavericks game. Mavericks coming off having their 5-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 107-77 loss at home to the Knicks on Wednesday night. Luka, 31 points in the second game back from his toe injury, but nobody else did a thing. Rockets coming off their second win in 3 games, 139-130 overtime victory at home over the Lakers. Jalen Green goes for a season-high 32.7 20-point game over his last 9. He had just 9 in the first 42 games of the year. Take it away here, Mavericks, Rockets.
I don't give a shit about this game.
Such a roller coaster ride with you.
I know. No, but I'm going to tell you, the game that they played against New York and how flat they were, man. It was like, yo, did these guys go to Chocolate City the night before? I mean, I don't know how they could look as flat as they did against a terrible New York team. I didn't get it. So at this point here, it's one of these things. Are you confident that they're going to turn it around? Which it's Dallas, and they should. But I just think they should have never played that bad in the first place. With a team in Houston that can come up and at least give you a little bit of competition, as bad as they are. As bad as they are, right? So, I mean, this is the Battle of Texas, right? These teams are very familiar with each other. I don't know. With this one here, once I saw how bad Dallas played against New York and how flat they look, I'm like, all right, man, maybe we have to take a step back. If it's a slow game, it works in Dallas's favor. If this is a fast game, it works in Houston's favor. So are you going to get another flat game? I don't believe so. But, I mean, this spread and this game in general just doesn't make me confident at all. It doesn't. And so I don't even want to play this game. I don't even give a shit about this game, especially after what Dallas did to me last game.
54% of the tickets on Dallas, 60% of the cash, 73% of tickets on the over. Dallas was 1 of 19 in the first half from 3 versus the Knicks. And maybe, you know what? I was thinking under. I'm gonna stop thinking under. Maybe they do show out. Maybe they show out early. Okay. All right, so more thoughts for me to figure out. Okay, let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. New York Knicks 28-38, 15-19 on the road at Memphis Grizzlies. 45-22, 23-10 at home at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. The Knicks 3-2 over their first 5, 21st in pace at 97.90 possessions a game, while the Memphis Grizzlies also 3-2 over the past 5, 10th in pace at 100.80 possessions a game. We have the Knicks opening up as 9.5-point dogs. It's gone down to 9 in a few books, but you can still get the 9.5. This total is opening up at 230.5 down to 228.5. When we go over to the cash here, 7,792 tickets in, 62% of tickets, 68% of cash on the Grizzlies, and 49% of the tickets. So public on both sides of the total, but 65% of the cash on the under. So big bets have come in on the under, and the total's dropped 1.5. Nutflush says you have to cap it at 2. I don't give a shit plays. I'm getting excited. I'm getting too excited. He says getting too excited. Knicks coming off their third straight win. We just spoke about it in the Dallas spot. Julius Randle 26. He got 46 on Monday in Sacramento. He had a really rough January. He's turned that around here over the last 6 weeks. 31.4% shooting the Mavericks had against the Knicks. 6 of 44 from 3. Grizzlies coming off their second win in 3 games, 132-111 at home versus the Pelicans on Tuesday night. Grizzlies scored 77 points in the first half of that game, hit 11 threes in the first half, 42 fast break points in the game. Morant, 20 first straight game with at least 20. He had 24, and Desmond Bane, 22. And Desmond Bane is shooting 50% from 3 over his past 4 games, 17 for 34. Take it away, Knicks, Grizzlies.
There's a 13-point difference between these two teams in first half scoring in the last 3 games. 13-point difference. Minnesota's quietly sitting 3rd in the league in first half scoring at 58.4 points. And New York is right there at 54 points. They've scored 56 in their last 3 versus Memphis at 69 in their last 3. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Oh, my God.
Give me Memphis. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. I'm on a tear, man. I'm on a tear. Memphis, first in the league. First half ATS. Last 10, they're 8-2. And right now, at home is where they dominate, 23-10. 23-10. I want to say that Dallas was more flat than New York was good against that day. You're going to see the real New York team today, and it's not a good team against Memphis, especially in the first half. I've already stepped on it. I got Memphis -5.5 first half. This is the best first half team in the league. They've gotten rested. They play at home. Bruh, it's curtains. It is fucking curtains tonight. They are going to get it done.
Ooh-wee. So I want to. Did you get 5 or 5.5 on the first half?
I got it at 5.5.
Can I beat that? No, I cannot. Okay, -5.5 is the best I can get as well at -107 at Pinnacle. And there's Dennis Garcia. He is here. Dennis, are you backing your Heat today? I'd love to hear. And he says, can't wait for the playoffs. Memphis, one and done.
Yeesh. You know, that's not even a hot take, man, because why do I agree with that? That's the funny thing. I absolutely agree with that, which is fucking weird. But they might just be bounced off in their first round.
And Dan Kelly has added an extra look in Raptors Suns tonight.
Yeah.
I am going to be live betting Raptors Suns, and I'll be live on YouTube doing it. And I'm very curious for that breakdown. I want to spend some extra time here on the Toronto Phoenix game. Okay, so he's added the under 22.5, and we have Dennis is not backing his Heat tonight. Grizz -5.5, -107. Okay, we move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Charlotte Hornets 32-35, 16-18 on the road at New Orleans Pelicans 27-39, 15-18 at home. We're at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's see what we are dealing with here at Smoothie King. Where are you? There we go. The Hornets open up. Wow. Hornets open up as 3.5-point dogs and are now 2.5 to 3-point favorites. I find that.
Were they?
Yeah, I don't know.
I never saw them as dogs. Let me see. I never saw them as dogs.
Let me just see if that is a mistake here. The site I don't trust anymore, but let's go over here.
Yeah. Last night, they were 3.5 dogs.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it says here as well, 3.5-point dogs.
Yeah, that's the wrong line. I'm telling you right now, somebody's gonna be fired in Vegas for that shit.
Wow. All right. So, and then when we go over to the cash here, 8,271 tickets in. 91% of the tickets are on Charlotte and 98% of the cash because everybody just saw Orlando Magic run a train on them without Ingram. Wow.
No
74% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the over. And that over has dropped 6 points from its opener, 231.5 down to 225.
I want to say it's probably because CJ out? Because BI is out for another 10 days, right? But CJ is out now, right?
Jay Soul in the house. Jay Soul, great NBA capper, says this game is fishy as hell.
It is fishy as fuck.
No Ingram, no McCollum, COVID protocol.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, we knew we didn't have Ingram, but are you trying to tell me that CJ is worth a 7-point swing about? I don't know. So this is the way I looked at this game. I wasn't playing any side of this game, right? We know that Charlotte plays good in the second half. They do need to bounce back and win a game. This could be the game they do it against, right? But what I really looked at was the over on this game. What they've been averaging in the last three, I want to say New Orleans is up to 114.5, and Charlotte's already at 115. And you know they score high in the second half of games. It's like a 15-point difference in what they do in the first half. So I'm like, I'll take the over. But I would only take that if CJ was playing. I would only take the over if CJ was playing. So I don't know how this game is going to go, really, but I didn't step on it once CJ was out. And that is confirmed. Yeah, he's definitely out. So, yeah, this is a no play for me, but I was looking at the over on this game. I believe that 231 was the right number. I do believe so. So I do believe it can still get there because we know that Charlotte doesn't play any defense whatsoever, right? So this is still a chance to probably get a good plan with them. But who's going to score for New Orleans? You do have scorers, but you know, it's one of these things to where if I had CJ, I'd feel comfortable about that over and even possibly even taking New Orleans. This game is trappy as fuck. Very, very trappy. So I don't want any play on this game. I don't want any smoke. This is one I'm just going to pass on.
All right. Well, let's keep rolling. We only have Darryl for 15 minutes, and we can't keep him a minute longer, so we got to move. We have 3 games left. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Utah Jazz, 41-24, 18-14 on the road at San Antonio Spurs, 25-41, 12-20 at home. We're at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. Utah 3-2 over their past 5, 25th in pace at 96.59 possessions a game, while the Spurs are 1-4, 4th in pace at 102.20 possessions a game. Jazz open up as 7.5-point favorites. That's down to 5.5 now. This total opened up at 230, and it is down to 228. So do I, Dennis. I missed the number at 6. I was very interested to see where it would go. We'll talk about that here. And but I'm okay with not being involved pregame and only being involved in-game. And I will have a fresh bottle of Kraken that I'm just thinking about right now. I have to go buy it, though. Jazz coming off their second win in 3 games, 123-85 at home to the Blazers on Wednesday night. Bogdanovich, 27, Mitchell, 16, Royce, 11, 8 straight wins at home. But now they're on the road. They dominated that game. 63-35 at halftime, 96-49 at one point. Spurs coming off their 5th loss in 6 games, 119-104 at home to the Raptors on Wednesday night. What a difference this Raptors team looked like with Van Fleet out there. But Scotty Barnes still just makes us so exciting. It makes us so excited about the future. Keldon Johnson went for 27. DeJounte Murray went for 25 and 12. Lonnie Walker added 13. Puel 11 and 12. And then from the cash side of things here, it's down to 5.5 points. Interesting. Jazz 65% of the tickets, 83% of the cash, and it's dropping. And this is the other spot where they say that there is value and steam on the San Antonio Spurs right now. 25% of tickets on the under, 76% of cash on the under. Take it away here, Darryl.
Yeah, Spurs, if you know, you know, right? If you know, you know with San Antonio in this position. You take them first quarter. You take San Antonio first quarter because of how well they play at home. They are still ranked first. Let's see right now. San Antonio is first quarter ATS. San Antonio Spurs are first. They're first, right? At home, they're 18-13. They play better away, right? But Utah Jazz isn't a quick starting team. Now, little cause for pause here is the fact that San Antonio over the last 10 has been 4-5-1, right? But this is a game that I feel they're even with Utah, because Utah, all it takes really for them to get started is making a bunch of shots in the beginning, and it's something they haven't done as of late. Right now, San Antonio is shooting better than the Jazz for the season and even in the last three in first quarter, right? So San Antonio is ranked third in the league at 29.4 points in the first quarter. Right now, their last three, they're at 30, with their last game being at 29. Utah's eighth. Their season average is 27.8, right? They've averaged to 30 over the last three, and they put up 33 in their last one. So this is one of these teams to where, in my opinion, I felt the way I feel about San Antonio is the way I felt about the Detroit Pistons in their first quarter play. I do believe this is a good spot for San Antonio because of how well they play in the first quarter. We're looking at them to start off fast. We need them to start off fast. Hell, we need Pop to get this next win anyways, right? So this is a very familiar team they have with the Utah Jazz. I like San Antonio possibly win this game outright, but I am going to take them in the first quarter where I know they thrive. First quarter, give me San Antonio Spurs plus 1.5. I've already taken it at 1.5. I do believe this is going to be a game to where they can get up pretty quick on Utah. And then Utah is going to have to come back and just really, really put the smack down. But it won't happen in the first quarter.
And we can get you plus two
Let's
at
do
minus
it.
109. And
Yeah,
wow, the Hoosiers have taken out Illinois. Unbelievable. Okay, let's move on. This is the big game for me.
Yeah.
So, if anybody wants to hang with me, I'll just follow my Twitter, and I'll be live for this game. Raptors 35-30, 18-15 on the road at Phoenix Suns 53-13, 28-7 at home. Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona. Could have bet the Raptors plus 6 last night.
Yeah.
And I didn't. But I do think that I'll get chances during this game to bet them at nice. So I'm gonna watching every second of it, and I don't think I need, but I do think that I should probably move on the under. Now it's at 222.5, but let's talk this all out. Toronto 2-3 over their past 5, 23rd in pace, 96.80 possessions a game. Jay Soul says Raptors is my play of the day. Suns are 1-7 against spread last 8 games, following a double-digit victory. I'm buying the Raps with Van Fleet back in action, or back in the rotation. I love it, Jay Soul. I love it, but I hate this when I miss a point, and that's a big point, 5 and 6, and I think I'll just wait to do it live at this point.
Yeah.
And the Suns have been playing with pace over the last 5 games, 8 at 101.40 possessions a game. Let's see what we're dealing with. Raptors open up at 5.5 here. I saw them at 6.5. It says that they're still at 6.5. Oh, the 6.5 is at minus 130 at BetMGM. They're still opening up at 221, is now at 222.5. And Dan Kelly says something most people will miss betting this Toronto Phoenix game is it's a 6 p.m. Friday local start. Says very rare. Interesting. Maybe it will be a slower first quarter with that half-empty building. Interesting look there. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this spot. 7,300 tickets, 48% of tickets, 53% of the cash on the Raptors, and then 50-50 for tickets on the total, but 54% of the cash is on the under. So Van Fleet back, he goes for 26, and it's just a completely different basketball team. Scotty Barnes, 20-8. Anunoby still out with the fractured finger. Siakam, 20-8. Gary Trent, 17. He's not been shooting very well of late. Suns coming off their 4th win in 5 games, 111-90 at Miami on Wednesday. Booker, 23 points, 9 assists, 8 boards. After missing 4 games in NBA's health and safety protocol, Mikal Bridges goes for 21-9, 8 and 19 and 10. Sometimes we get beaten up when we deal with a center like Ayton.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to hear what you think of this game overall, because I can't wait to bet it tonight. Raptors, Suns, take it away.
So, contrary to popular opinion, I like Toronto here. I already stepped on them. I took Toronto minus 5. I think he has a very, very, or plus 5. I'm sorry, plus 5. I stepped on him plus 5 at minus 110. This team is very different with Van Vliet in, and Miami came really close to coming up on Phoenix, but it was this stretch of defense that Phoenix had played that I had never seen before that really shut down Miami in the third quarter, right? What I like about Toronto is that they are very tall and they are very long and they're very big, right? All of them. And I think when you have that combination, it makes it easier for you in your rotations. I believe it also makes it easier for you in your pick and roll. I do believe that. And it's going to be harder for Campaign to play his game, right? They've scouted him, so they know they're not going to take him left. It's going to be harder, really, for Mikal Bridges, even though he's long, to really play his type of game. And you still don't have CP3 out there, right? You still don't have CP3 out there. You don't have to double on D-Book. So you know the game plan is he's going to play the first 12 minutes in the first quarter, right? And it's just one of these things to where I think Nick Nurse has it figured out. As good as Phoenix is, and you're only missing CP3 at this point, and the numbers going down into Toronto's favor, that should tell you something. It should tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto won this game outright. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not much in-depth analysis that I have on this. Just the fact that I believe this is a perfect matchup for Toronto to win this game. I do believe that. And so I took Toronto at +5. I know I got there late, but I took Toronto to win this game. Or I'm thinking Toronto is just going to win this game outright. So I wouldn't be surprised if people got happy and jumped on the money line for some extra value. This just seemed like it plays in Toronto's favor. I can't tell you that the way I felt about the Phoenix and Miami game is the way I felt about the Dallas and New York game. And that is Miami just fell flat. And Phoenix was able just to kind of capitalize on that, right? Dallas was flat the entire game from the first quarter on. Miami was a little competitive, and then they just fell flat in this stretch of defense that Phoenix had played. But mind you, man, Phoenix still lost to New Orleans. Phoenix still lost to Utah, and they lost to Milwaukee by 10, right? And so the games that they have won, Orlando, okay. All right, they beat Orlando by 3. They beat the New York Knicks by 1. You know what I'm saying? And they beat Portland by 30, which was everybody's going to beat Portland by that much. So Phoenix, even though they are a great team, even though I do believe that they're going to come out of the West still, this year, I do believe so. They haven't shown me that they can beat a really, really good team by a lot as of recently, right? So I think Toronto's in the perfect position to start getting some games back under their belt. They shouldn't have lost against Orlando. They shouldn't have lost against Cleveland, but you didn't have your point guard there, right? You played San Antonio, and then you convincingly beat the shit out of San Antonio. So this is one of these teams games to where it should be a slow pace. It should be close. I think you're going to see a lot of pick and roll actions. I think you're going to see Scotty Barnes get off as well, right? And then if you don't have D-Book scoring, you're going to depend a lot on your glue guys to do so. And they're not going to be able to get it inside as good as they usually could because you have some long defenders in Toronto. Right. So to me, this is an upset game. I do believe Toronto could win this game outright, but I will get the +5. I already took it. I believe this is a game Toronto can get right with.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be very, very fun. Okay, let's roll. We have Raptors +5 -110. Jay Soul looking at the over for Van Fleet, over 20.5 points. And Scotty Barnes is at 15.5. You guys know I don't do player props anymore, but the person I'm hosting the show with, I promised that we would do a ticket together, a same game parlay where he uses 2 spots and I use 2 spots that we go in together. And if only one person's picks don't come through, then they have to pay for the ticket.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. John Gilpatrick in the house. What up, John? My guy. So great breakdown. Thank you for the time. I know you got to get out of here. So we have one last game, and it's your Lakers. And I fear your response that this game will be short.
No, we don't. Yeah. We don't have any. I don't see any more games on the books anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about. You see, I could have sworn the last game was Toronto at Phoenix. That's what I saw. I don't know what you saw. I didn't see any other games on the slate today at all. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Maybe I'll just handle this one on my own. maybe our next guest should go.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I mean, I'm looking right now at my computer. I don't see any other games on the slate. The last game I see is Toronto at Phoenix.
Well, you have to run anyways. You have to run anyways. I feel like a beaten housewife. Maybe you should just go.
Let's talk about it, man. Go ahead.
Crypto.com arena, Los Angeles, California. Washington 2-3 over their past 5, 26th in pace at 96.30 possessions a game. Lakers 1-4, 7th in pace at 101.58 possessions a game. Lakers opened up as 4.5-point favorites. It's down to 4. The total opening up at 228 is now at 228.5. Jimmy Gomez, my guy. We're like what? Less than 2 weeks away from partying together in San Antonio, my guy. And Sammy says it's still fade the Lakers. And Jay Soul says Kuzma and KCP Revenga. Wizards coming off their second loss in 3 games, 150-109. The Clippers on Wednesday night. Let's just take a look at what the cash is here. 4,009 tickets in. 60% of the tickets, 80% of the cash on the Wizards. And then 50-50, but 61% of the tickets on the over. So, okay, well, I can get into that a little bit. But here, Wizards coming off their second loss, 3 games, 150-109. The Clippers on Wednesday night. Porzingis, team leading 19 points. Missed a 10-footer with 17 seconds left that could have tied the game. I don't know why they traded for him at all. Lakers coming off their 6th loss in 7 games, 139-130 in overtime with the lowly Rockets Wednesday night. LeBron triple-double, 23, 14, and 12. Westbrook goes 11 for 21 shooting and scores 30 points, but it doesn't matter. They can't defend come crunch time. Take it away here, Darryl. Do you have any?
I don't want to take it away. I don't want to. Why do you tell me to take this shit away? I don't want to take it away. I want to give it right back to you. Right? I want to just get the shit back to you. Let you handle it. All I'm saying is moving forward for the rest of the season. Games that the Lakers should win, they are going to lose. And games that the Lakers should lose, they are going to win. Right? So this is a game that they should win, but I'm more than certain they're gonna win this game but not cover, right? So from an ATS perspective, you lose. So yeah, I don't know. I'm so over the Lakers right now, man. It's not even funny. I don't even cap their games, to be honest. I don't even look at. I did look at the numbers here, right? And Washington's pretty even first half. But after I saw that, I'm like, nah, I don't care. I'm not betting this game. I'm not playing this game. I'm just going to go by that philosophy. Games they should lose, they will win. Games they win, they should lose.
Yeah, they're a fun team to cap and a fun team to fade live.
They're not fun to cap, Jimmy. What the hell are you talking about?
For all of us who have
like bump bites.
Oh, yes, that too. I love when the homeless rumble.
Take KT, take Kyle Kuzma props, bro. He should have a field day today.
All right, let's review our guy Darryl's action here with not 1, not 2, but 3. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Plays of the day. First off, Minnesota -4 at -1. First half -4 at -112. Full game -7.5 at -112, and that wasn't even. And I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
I know.
Double up spot. Then we have staying off Clippers Hawks, but I'm very interested in the Hawks. Celtics -15 was the I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is play of the day. Darryl is on the Cavs first quarter +2.5. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is play of the day -105. Then I'm interested in the Mavs first half and the over. Then Darryl is on Memphis first half -5.5. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is play of the day. Dan Kelly, first half Atlanta -3, -113. Second quarter Miami -1, -124. Miami team total over 108.5. And Toronto Phoenix under 222.5. Spurs first quarter +2 at -109. Raptors +5 -110. I do think I'll make a pregame bet on the under 222.5 in that spot. And there you have it. What a day. Thank you, Moose Money. Says the show has made me fall in love with sports betting on the real. Thank you. Thank you for rolling with us, Moose Money. We enjoyed enormously. And as you can see, we've hit the 2-hour and 59-minute mark. Darryl, I know you got to run. A much love to you. Oh, and Jimmy forgot to add the mother to one of Daryl's plays. Which one was the mother on again? You added
That was
mother.
the first one. Celtics. I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is.
Shit. Okay, like a little asterisk. Mother.
Mike Allen is my man. I got to meet that brother. I got to meet Mike and Dan.
You will come to San Antonio,
Yeah.
all of you. Daryl, I know you got to run. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, my man.
Appreciate
Follow Daryl on Twitter at It's Daryl. Daryl, any last words before we head into the weekend?
Hey, man. Kiss the ones you love. We only got a short time on this planet, man. Love all y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Let's get this fucking bread, bro. Let's get it today. I feel good today. I do. I feel good today. So hopefully that shows up in the capping. And I appreciate all of you. Jay, come on, man. You know I got nothing but love for you, brother. But I appreciate all of you in the chat. Jay, for the opportunity. Even Jose. Jose, I can't wait for my goddamn steak dog. I can't wait for it, brother. I can't wait for it. So, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Oh, man. I love it. There he is. It's Daryl in the house. All right, let's do one final review. Man, this was a marathon. So this is our final review of action here. Ron Crawford, NCAA basketball player of the day, moneyline parlay, SMU UNC. Babano is on the Penguins in regulation at -102. Spreadsheet play of the day is Penguins in regulation for Ron Crawford. And I am on the Penguins -1 at +110. I got the over 6 at -105. Tell me it's a 7 now. Is that possible? It's a 7. Beat it by a full goal. God damn. That's incredible. Billy Friedrich says, more like Jimmy the Bladder. When do you use the facilities? You know what? Dennis Garcia says, what about say? Hey, you're right. Baseball is back. So sorry about the constant siren.
You hear that? They're fucking coming for the Say Hey's ass. They saw what happened earlier this morning. They're ready. I smell like beer and I'm ready to go.
That doesn't even sound like a cop car.
That's the family. That's the Family Guy European song, the sound or whatever, siren.
Sounds like either a very sexy ambulance or a clown car. So I'm not sure. And Mr. Gogan says, see you all in San Antonio soon. And he added the Wiz team total over. What was that line? Wiz team total over that you grabbed. Are you adding a Say Hey play? Or are you just here to
no, I'm just here to just I'm not even sauce, dude. Shut up. But I'm here to tell people that, or remind people, Puddlepalooza, March 24th through the 31st. Last day to sign up for Sweet 16 tickets today on the Google Doc. So go fucking sign up if you haven't already. The sign-up dates for the poker tournament and San Antonio Spurs game are a little more flexible, but we need as many people to sign up, or we need as early people to sign up for the Sweet 16 game, all that good stuff. So sign up, you fuckers.
Sign up, you fuckers.
Are you going to get back into singing? Are you going to talk the singing bit again? Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want to do that. But I did beat a total by a full goal in Minnesota Columbus. That's the first time. I think that's the first time that's happened this year. I'm on Winnipeg, New York Islanders over 6 at +100. Babano's on the over 6 at -125 in Washington, Vancouver. Let's go down Babano's college basketball action. I've got to make decisions because those 2 p.m. games are gone now. Damn, I don't have Rutgers.
You're slacking, Jim. You're slacking. You want me to review the action?
I could bet it live if I want to. No, I always think that there's a reason for why those things happen, and I don't push it.
But you don't believe in luck. You don't believe in luck. You don't believe in jinxes, but you believe in that.
No, I don't. I don't believe in luck or any of that stuff. Just follow my Twitter, Dan. It'll be on my Twitter for that.
And by the way, I have a quick shout out. Shout out to our guy Rayhan. He's going to be hooking us up during the poker tournament and everything. So shout out to my guy Rayhan. And I'm going to be seeing him very soon, actually, probably in the next hour or so.
Rayhan is the truth.
Rayhan is the truth. Rayhan is the truth. And Mr. Gokster, no signups for the Valero Open. Everyone can get their tickets whenever. I don't think there's I've never been to a golf tournament, but there's no like a select seating. You can just kind of stand around, fuck around, I think. So
Yeah.
no signups for that.
Yeah, that'd be a good spot for Jose for the old cut the ass out of your pants gag. And I believe we are going to sponsor a hole, right? Hole 8, and we'll have a big tub of tampons in vodka, right?
I have not. I don't think I've gotten to that point, and I don't think the Valero Open has heard about that yet. But I do know a lot of golfers that would be interested in that. Phil Mickelson, I think Phil Mickelson would be the first one in line for that with his humongous calves.
Yeah, it's a great thing. We say it's a gag, right? We were like, okay, you bob for tampons, it's vodka, and then the golfer goes in bobbing for it, and then we hold them with their head submerged in water and give a vodka-filled tampon right in the old chocolate starfish, and then they go off and golf the rest of the game.
I can already imagine the noises the golfers would make. I don't know if it's just a quick or more of a gasp. I don't know what it is. Dan Kelly, to answer your question, yes, the Valero Open is in San Antonio during Pubblepalooza. Good times, yes. And
come down.
Yes, Dan. Dan, you keep saying you're too old, Dan. You could be my dad, but I'm ready to party with you, Dan. I'm ready to get all those wisdoms. And by the way, our man Poker Addiction, aka Piker, aka Seamus Ignoramus, wants me to do an eyeball shot. I'll do one in San Antonio if you're there, Seamus. I don't even know what that means, but
oh my God, Nufflashan says we can chill at the pool on the rooftop hotel we booked.
Nufflash was talking to me about hotels last night. It was a good time, and then by the way, Dan could be my grandpa. Even better. Dan, that'd be great. I'd love to sit on your lap and talk about sports. Jim, don't get your mind out of the gutter, dude.
I don't think it was my
get at your mind out of your gutter, dude. Goodness. English is my second language. It's hard, dude. But I'm just gonna keep reminding people to sign up, and if you have any trouble for any sign up at the events, just DM me directly and I will help you.
So sorry, whose lap did you want? You want to sit on Dan's lap?
Yeah, because grandpa,
Because if there's an older man,
I'll sit on yours too, Jim. We can make this very awkward. I'll go all of. We were talking earlier about how hard I was, and now we're talking about me sitting on laps. We can go all the way into this. I've got no fear, no trepidation.
Maybe the problem is I don't have enough veins in my cock for you. You're like an old man's cock. Yeah. You like something really veiny, like okay,
like almost like a strong man's forearm. That's what I want it to look like.
Like a varicose vein, like that kind of.
Stop using big words, Jim. We don't know what that means. Come on, dude.
All right. Well, that's Jose, the lap sitter here, joining us. Texas A&M plus 10 is how Babano started his action. Jose closed his action by sitting on elderly men's laps. But, I've seen...
Would you sit on her lap?
Well, yeah, sure. Sure. But Dan is not elderly. Dan is not an elderly man. Like I don't know why he's saying he's too old for this. He's not too old.
I know. I mean, Dan could party with all these ladies, no problem, obviously, but so could Big Boss, since we're talking about it. Shout out to Big Boss. And he will be there, of course, like you talked about. Dan, I want to see you snuggled up beside this woman right here. That's all I want. In San Antonio.
Look, why are you trying to take the attention away from you sitting on men's laps? Let's just stick
there. We can talk about it, Jim. I've sat on plenty of people's laps before. No problem.
I'm not surprised. You might be sitting on a man's lap right now, for all we know, right?
Yeah, you don't know that.
Another hand might come up like that.
Yeah. It's actually the hand that's making my mouth talk. It's just going right through.
Texas A&M plus 10 is how Babano started his action. He's also Rutgers first half staring me in the face. He's on UAB North Texas parlay. He's on Tulane minus 115, Grambling plus 6.5, Toledo team total over 72, the over 144 in Texas A&M Nicholls State. And man, I'm gonna have to tell people cover your laps. Anytime Jose's walking past us in San Antonio,
and then you'll tell people not to turn around when you get the two fingers on the back.
We'll test. We'll give you a couple tests and see if you fall.
You know, Jimmy, I know you. I'm stupid, Jim. I mean, I may be smart. I've got the street smarts of a fucking toddler. You tap me on the shoulder, I'm turning every single time for that slap. Every single time.
Poker Addicted 79 knows why you're the hardest host now, because of all the lap sitting. You know?
Yeah.
TCU plus 8.5 minus 108. Miami plus 9. Jose sits on men's laps. Kent State money line at plus 107 for Babano. Montana State plus 1.5. Vanderbilt plus 10. Thank God my grandfather is not alive, because the last thing our family wants is for you to sit on his lap. So
what about Papa Bag?
Oh, he would take you down like that, and then he would just start feeding you and
I mean, we
you.
had a conversation before. Me and him, we're on the same page. He seems like a lovely fella.
Oh, Cashman says Rutgers.
You got
Cashman
7
says
minutes.
okay, shit. Okay. NC Central money line minus 127. New Orleans plus 3.5. UConn plus 2.5 minus 108. Long Beach State plus 4 minus 105. Grand Canyon plus 2.5. Oklahoma plus 7.5. And I have to do some more line shopping for him on Virginia Tech, Alabama, A&M, Wyoming. CSU Fullerton minus 135. Abilene Christian minus 2.5 minus 110. And we've gone over all of Darryl's action here. So and Nutflush Allen says you're not allowed at the pool anymore. Sorry, at the rooftop pool. You're not allowed.
Well, you know, it wouldn't be the first time a white.
Okay, so that's that. Thank you guys so much for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat: Nutflush Allen, Cashman 19, Billy Friedrich, Piker, Turnsey, Rayhan, Jeff Slaughters. Says that's not a lap. Josh Easley, Tim Montana, BX. Can't wait to hang with you, Tim. Jared TG, Billy Friedrich, Michael Irvelina, Dan Kelly left. He just bounced. He bounced a while ago. He was not comfortable with that, and I get it. Mr. Gobster, all of you guys, thank you so much for your support. Great week. Tuesday didn't start off that well, but it's been good. It's been a nice run on Wednesday and Thursday, and now we need a really nice Friday. Actually, Thursday, I was up 0.7 units yesterday, so I need a nice run here. Much love to all of you. Let's get that cash. Cover your laps when Jose's around. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers!
Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on!
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.